like we always do with this time. What's up? What's up, Stace?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right. How you feeling?
Much better, much better.
Good. Good. I don't know. It's all types of stuff going on. Going around now, man. I had strep throat. My cousin just hit me up saying he was sick now. Man, it's crazy.
Man, I don't get it.
And it was worse than that. This heat, guys, people going crazy.
Tell me about it.
Everybody trigger finger getting itchy.
I know.
It is ridiculous. And being that we live in an age where just about everything that happens is recorded, we're going to see from the small towns that nobody's ever heard of to the big cities that, sometimes don't even bat an eye.
So. Yep. It's nuts. I just don't understand it.
I'm trying to figure out where, man, listen, you got to protect yourself for one. And in my opinion, you had to stay out of situations that can escalate,
right.
And you, like G said, always keep your surroundings. If you see something going on, just doesn't seem right, you get that feeling up in you, you got to.
Yeah, listen, I'm just trying to figure out how these people get hold of these AR-15s.
I live in the South, deep South, and guns dime a dozen around here. Dime a dozen.
I just don't get it.
Now sitting on 4 or 5 guns, and like it ain't nothing. You only have 2 hands, bruh. Yeah, 2. Unless you know something I don't know, where you gonna hook that joke up underneath your arm or something and do your elbow, pull the trigger. 2 pistols at a time. You can't be Rambo and hold two of them big that and shoot them. Like, nah, that's not gonna happen. But I are infatuated with that for some reason. I never got into it the way that others get into it. But,
I'm gonna be honest with you. Guns scare me. I'm scared of being shot, and I'm scared of looking at a gun.
I'm not scared of the gun. I'm just scared of somebody else having one. My own, yeah, I'm good, but you have to know. You have to know something about the people around you that has them. Don't have, they have a quick temper. You definitely don't want to be around somebody with a quick temper.
Trust me, I know about the quick tempers. My last ex-boyfriend, he had one of those. I swear, the slightest little thing, it's like, I can't with you.
Right. Nah, it's not worth it though. In the long run, you want to, I don't know, protect your rep, as they said in Malcolm X. What was the man's name? The man that he said, I wasn't gonna shoot you, Red. I just wanted to protect my rep. But
my man, I know what you talk about.
Delroy Lindo part, but I can't remember his name in the movie.
Wait a minute. I know who you're talking about. Oh shoot, because he took him in. He took him in when he came into the bar. What's his name? And I just watched the movie the other day.
Archie.
That's it. And believe it or not, I just watched that movie the other day, 2:00 in the morning. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't sleeping, and matter of fact, I think it came on Bounce. I said, let me watch this. I wasn't sleeping. I watched the whole movie. I like that movie.
Yeah, I like that movie too. It's something. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I understand protection purposes. I do understand that, but like everything else, there's a balance to it. If it's you and somebody else, one-on-one, mano with mano, and you're pulling out a pistol because you feel you can't beat that man, then maybe you should have kept your mouth shut.
Yeah. See, I come from the era. I'm born 75. So imagine growing up in the 80s where all you had was fists.
Oh yeah. I was born in
Mhm.
73. I know. I,
Yeah. So it's like, what happened to that?
you already know what happened to that. Everybody found ways to get guns. Now, from what I've seen and heard, a lot of places on the East Coast, like the northeastern parts, they get a lot of guns from the South because they're so easy to get down here. Now, again, where are these guns coming from? People down here are making the guns. So where are they coming from?
Yeah, that's true. And I just realized something today, matter of fact, I was watching Good Morning America, and the guy that he was an escaped convict and in Texas, matter of fact, and he killed a family of 5. And he went on a run, and the cops finally caught up with him and killed him. But don't you know he was part of the mafia, Texas mafia gang, what they call cartel mafia?
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. And I'm saying, what? I didn't even know Texas had that down there.
Oh man, Texas is. You think about it, they're right at the border, where lots of people coming over, and it's not, it's not everybody, of course, not generalizing any group of people, but look at the influx of drugs in this country. There's a lot of it that's homegrown. Everything, most things are coming from somewhere else. I don't know of any poppy fields, no large poppy fields that could supply the entire, cocoa crops in the United States that could supply the entire country. That could even supply maybe an entire state.
Right.
So a lot of that is now the weed now is becoming it's different now because you have so many different states who have legalized.
And them people, I got a couple of family members. They so happy that's legalized now. They don't know what to do with themselves.
Is it legal in Connecticut?
Not that I know of. I don't think so. I know Massachusetts is legal, but I'm not sure about here. I'm really not sure. I don't do this stuff, so I really can't tell you. I really don't know.
Yet?
Huh?
Is it legal in New York yet?
I think it's legal in New York. So I think I know 2 states. I think you're probably right. I think it's New York and Massachusetts. I know Massachusetts.
Right.
But I'm just not sure about here.
Okay.
And then again, it might be. I probably can check and have the answers for you by next Tuesday, because I can ask a cousin of mine, because he used to smoke the stuff, so he know. So I have to check.
I know plenty of people that smoke it here. It ain't legal, but that's just how it is. It's not something that just started. I remember as a kid, smoking it. Now it seems like almost everybody, like 1 out of every, about 3 out of every 5 people smoke.
I know. I was out today for a little bit, and I passed by. I didn't know that stuff was so strong, man. I passed by. Now I got my mask on, walking, and I could still. I'm saying, what the heck, man? I could still smell the stuff through the mask.
Right.
That is some. I said, thank God I never started smoking that mess. That's some strong mess.
That's that loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that skunk. That's what they call
it. Right.
And the funny thing, since they passed this marijuana little thing, around different states, especially with Amazon, so they was losing a bunch of employees because they couldn't pass the drug test. So they went and said, well, they're treating a marijuana situation like alcohol, like suspicious behavior or whatever. So if they don't see you in the act, they can't do nothing to you. Same thing like Coke, for number one, like Coca-Cola. I mean, I go in there, I work there part-time just to do something. And them boys, you can smell it when they come in and work, and then, you know, for briefing, and they go on lunch break, no lie, either going to the pilot or going to the corner gas station, getting in, busting, you see all the tobacco in the middle of the parking lot. Yo, you see nothing but clouds in the parking lot. So I question it. And it's when the supervisor say, HR says, you can't do nothing with them unless you see them in the act. And the thing about it, nobody wanted to work. So they was like, well, you know what? These people come to work and they're doing a little bit. So I told them, I said, you gotta understand this. You set yourself up because if you get hurt on the job, you're gonna pass the drug test. So, you know, workers' comp is not gonna pay you for anything. So, I mean, what's the sole purpose of it?
It was, you know, it was a recreational thing. Hey there, princess.
Hey.
It was a
recreational.
Now it's more than recreation. It's become like a daily habit.
Your uncle.
Right. But we got a few people on tonight, so I guess I'll start things off. I know normally we talk about problems and solutions. Tonight, what's going on, Mally? I'd like to, most of us are in the same age group. I like to look at something positive tonight. I like for everybody to chime in about changes that have been made that they agree with. Good changes, because everything that changed wasn't bad. So can anybody think of some good changes over the years? Oh, no, tell me you're gonna get crickets. Cricket. Okay, I'll say those of us that are TV heads, some of the access to the more variety of shows, because when we came up, we had them same 3 channels: ABC, NBC, CBS. And unless you lived in a big city that you might get a couple other channels, you were pretty much stuck. You rolled the dice. You only had 3 shots unless you wanted to watch PBS, which always came in clear for some reason. I don't know. They had the best towers. PBS had the best towers. Their joints was crystal clear. Kwame probably didn't get to watch much TV because he was working.
Man, you know what, man? I had 10 jobs, man.
I know. Hey, man. We got 10 jobs. Let's see. I think, honestly, though, I think the opportunities for the arts, I do agree with the progression in that. I understand it's still a struggle. Like, okay, we're going to go to the DL and Monique thing. Now, let's think about it like this. Back when we were coming along, if you had a woman's Monique size, she had to be uber talented, but 9 times out of 10, she wasn't going to get a shot. She wasn't going to get a big time shot because you had to be a certain size. And now, right, gotcha.
They did the bag. Remember, they did the bag test. You know what I'm saying? If you darken the bag, you know you're in trouble.
Yeah. And now we have plus size. Now we have people who can get the exposure. Like, what's my man named Chance the Rapper? You don't have to sign major label deals in order to put your music out. You can do a lot of promoting yourself. I think that's good because a lot of us were limited. Those of us that wrote, sing, directed, whatever we did in the art realm, we were limited to if you knew somebody that could put you on. Nowadays, you're not as limited in following your dream. So I can say that's a positive. Anybody else? Y'all gonna have me start throwing out all these positives? Somebody help me now. Throw me a lifeline. Yeah, thinking nothing. I like the designs of the cars better. Certain cars instead of box shape, and they're lighter, faster.
It all depends on which ones you look at.
Yeah, but for the most part, yeah.
I mean, like you said, cars. Now, I like what they do with them. We call them things, the Nissan Pathfinders. They look way better. They look way better when what they used to be. The big old. Oh my God! I seen one today. Somebody had a big old fat one. I'm looking. So they have improved. They did improve on that. I'm glad Nissan did that. Cut them Pathfinders down.
Yeah, the Pathfinders. They were, but when they dropped, everybody's like, "Oh man, the Pathfinder." When SUVs drop, period. The Chin Pathfinder. What else? They had the Suzuki Jones, the little. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah." They were dangerous as a mug because they would flip. You couldn't drive past hers on them mugs.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what else has gotten. Well, I can't say the music has gotten better, so I had to.
I'm sorry, I've been on pause. I got the grandkids and I had to make oatmeal. You want oatmeal? But anyway, the piggyback with what's her name? Stacy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What Stacy said about the Pathfinder. I mean, with the Pathfinder, so Nissan, I like that fact that the Nissan company got exposed about there was selling the cars to blacks at a higher rate versus the whites. So it was a class act lawsuit against that. So I like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So that's another good thing. Information is more available now.
It's more information out there. It's at your fingertips. We didn't have to worry about going in your parents' what we call pantry or wherever they had the big old encyclopedias trying to find information out.
Them Encyclopedia Britannica was our friend, and you go to somebody else, oh, their encyclopedia different color. It might have some different info. Let me read it.
We had the blue ones. Matter of fact, for real, when I went home in the garage, we got a couple. I think it was a P and N was missing, but encyclopedia. Yeah, I was like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a few things. So I know that once we reach a certain age, we're kind of at the point where what we call the old heads back when we were younger, well, man, your music sucks. Oh man, these cars ain't nothing. Oh man, so at some point we had to pay homage to the fact that, okay, not everything that's is for the worse. We can't just get stuck in our way. Now, I understand with the music, sometimes music defines a generation.
Yep, that's a fact.
Every generation of music defined their struggle, their daily life, and everything. If you want to know what's going on with a generation, look at the contemporary music of that time. The 60s, and people were smooth, and then you had 70s full of drug songs, but it was covered because even though a lot of people did drugs, they didn't do it out in the open unless you were in a group of people that also did those drugs. You weren't just going to pass by somebody smoking weed or sniffing coke or whatever on the street. It was going to be more of they're going to be in their house hiding it. But nowadays, I drink lean, with them Tide Pods, whatever it is that can get me high, let me try it. And it's an escape, not making an excuse for anything, but trying to understand why people do what they do. It's it's something else. I mean, we look at people that do things that we don't do, and sometimes the fact that we don't do them makes us automatically look at that person in a particular way without understanding that that is the destination and we're not looking at the journey. And when you look at the journey, sometimes you can understand, even though you don't justify it. You can't justify it, but you can understand how a person went that route. And that's with anything in life. The lack of understanding that some people have, especially those people that become stuck in their ways, the less malleable you are, the less likely you are to understand others. So it's kind
I
of like,
think what has changed,
huh?
I think also what has changed too, before I forget,
Mm-hmm.
like the cleanliness of places now when you go. At one time, people used to be really slack with cleaning, disinfecting chairs and things like that. You can, schools, all those things. So I think the best thing that could have happened was the cleanliness, the Lysol, the wiping down everything, you know, less germs, you know.
Okay.
That's the best thing I think for me.
Okay. And it made me think of something else. We have the ability now to be more health conscious, along with the cleanliness. We have the ability to, oh, well, pesticides, you know, shouldn't be this big. I shouldn't be able to get full off of one piece, you know, that type of thing. And we say, okay, no steroids in my chicken, please. Just give me some regular sized chicken. But being more health conscious, and that comes with the information that we're more privy to now. So yeah. So Kwame sent me something earlier. We're gonna jump on this real quick. About the DL and Monique thing. Kwame, did you see the link that I sent you?
Yeah, I seen it. Actually, I saw it while I was doing a conference call, but yeah, I watched it. But you know, again, you know, I listened to Corey. Corey gonna keep it 100. You know, and then like you said, back then, you know, everybody was relevant. Now, you know, now you evolve with new times, and you know, everybody got new materials. And so I feel that she was stuck. And nobody, like you were saying, nobody talking about big, you know, Johnson and you know, Lil Johnson and this and that and all that.
Yeah.
You know more. So you know what I'm saying. So you know, she don't have no material because that, like you said, for 10 minutes she was just bashing DL, his wife, the dog, Steve Harvey, you know, Oprah, and all these other guys. I mean, I don't know. I want to say, you know, I feel for her, but you know, again, man, she just burned bridges and opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah. And not only that, I want to say, why is it that now all of a sudden these people, our people, nobody has the decorum? Well, nobody wants to have the decorum to handle things face to face like adults.
They're not, because
out in public.
They're not. They're not, because the thing is this. Who's the judge and jury now? The public. Once you put stuff out, you're gonna have, you know, IG, Facebook, or whatever. They're gonna take certain sides. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. You know, that's people put their information out there like that.
Yeah.
But see, I think, you know, the root of it, I think Monique was still Hollywood struck because she had the Parker Show, or you know, she did a little Fatty Girl, or what was the other movie she did? You know what I'm saying? She did these movies in.
The Queens of Comedy.
Yeah, the Queens of Comedy. So I feel that she still was in that Hollywood struck mindset that, okay, I'm on that level, so I should get that kind of treatment. But you know, like you said at the top of the show, when I jump in, you have to pay homage to other people. You know what I'm saying? And then it will be, you know, you will be that person. You gotta be relevant at all times.
Yeah, you had to move on the side and understand. Everybody's gonna have, especially in the comedy game, everybody's gonna have their time. You're gonna have to make the most out of your time and understand when you're on top, make the most of it then. But you're not gonna always be on top, and it's very rare for you to fall and be able to come back up on top. And I guess that's what, like most things in life. I'm just liking it in comedy. You know, like when we were in our youth, the things that we could and would do at our youth, we get older and sometimes wiser. We can't go back and do those things that we did in our youth. Not the same way. You got to take stride.
Yeah.
I mean, we use that and use this as an example. You know, your parents have friends come over and say, "Hey, Flex, you know, you be young. They want you to sing in front of everybody or whatsoever. Now you at an older age now. Ain't nobody want to hear you sing. You know what I mean? Because they ain't, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna say, oh, you know, you 8 years old, oh, the baby's singing good, this and that, third. Nah, they ain't gonna say, oh, he trash. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna hurt your feelings. So you're older now, they're gonna tell you the truth. You know, same thing like a baby.
Yeah.
Ooh, the baby is precious. No, that baby ugly. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't he so special? Yeah, he's
Exactly.
special. All right. What's up, host?
What up with it, man?
Hey, man, welcome. Yeah, I'm glad I finally found out how to put this thing on YouTube once again. All those good shows that we had on Zoom, and I couldn't figure out how to put that joke on YouTube. I'm bad as anything.
Yeah, I couldn't get in. Like, man, I can't get into it. But then I realized I got the Zoom app on my phone. And I was like, I got to go through the app. I thought I could just click on the link and do it that way, but I had to get on the app.
Okay. That's what's up. Yeah, we kind of touched on the Monique and DL thing, and again, it's one of those ongoing sagas. You know, it's crazy with all the information that's coming out. Like Kwame said, it's like if you go to the link that I sent Kwame, you see that she's been holding DL for years. This is her chance to come out. But I think it's ill time if you really are trying to get your career back on track after being blackballed by all these people. You know, you got Oprah want to work with you. Tyler Perry doesn't want to work with you. You ran the thing with Netflix. You got who else? Lee Daniels work with you. You got Steve Harvey.
And the rest of those cats, I'm like,
You and these are the OGs now for us.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to work with one of these cats in order to really get where you want it to be. But
But Flex, you notice that all those people she called out, she didn't call out Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
What's the matter? He didn't deal with her at all anyway?
I mean, he did Soul Plane together.
Okay,
He
yeah.
made sure,
That's right, they did. That's right.
exactly. He made sure she was in Soul Plane. So he didn't call out Kevin. So, you know what I'm saying? What was it? Did Kevin paid her a little bit more money? Or, you know, she just had a couple scenes and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you know, as we've grown to learn, those bridges that you burn, boy, be careful. Be sure you want to burn that bridge. Be sure you want to burn that bridge, especially when it comes to your career.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know,
I'm something like DL now. I watched his comments on his YouTube thing, and he got a part in there that puzzled me when he said it. Who do you know called their spouse? Well, called their husband
Daddy.
Daddy, yeah.
Unless you're in the middle or something.
I know a hell of a lot of lady that call their husband daddy and zaddy. I hear that shit thrown around all the time. I hear that all the time. oh, that's my zaddy, that's my daddy. I'm like, well, hey, it is what it is. DL Hughley to me, I think it's they just need to let it go. Monique was wrong for going out there and put that. Basically, she went out there and it was supposed to be funny. You went out there and talked about a guy the whole time. That wasn't even part of your I don't think she ever told any damn jokes. So I'm like, basically, you just came out there and argued about you could have you left backstage. Hell, you could have waited until after the comedy show and went back there and talked to him about that. Like, some things just need to be behind the scenes. Like, she doing it. I was on her side at first with the whole Netflix thing, but now she just going at everybody. And I'm like, Monique, I understand, sister. You deserve your money, and I'm all about you getting your money. But at the end of the day, stop going at every brother you think that got something a vendetta against you. You gotta just chill, talk to them behind the closed doors, and just keep it a buck and just be done with it.
Yeah. I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that. And it's crazy because being that in the era that we're in, everybody follows suit with what they see. So people see the people with money, which they adulate, which they adore, not handling things in a mature way. So what do you think they're going to do? Because the first thing come out, they got money. So that must be the way to handle it. Money don't make, they still confused. There's a lot of people out here still confused, thinking that money makes you into somebody. Money makes it where you can get things, but it doesn't make you into somebody.
Well, I beg to differ. On that one, Flex. Now, in the United States, a foreign country, like I was talking to this guy, he's from Jordan, in Egypt. And he was, he's a professor. He was a professor over there now. He works for Amazon. So we were just talking, having, a casual conversation. And then I said, do you miss home, or, you like it over here? He said, I love it over here, because he said back in Egypt, if you have money and if there's a crime going on, the police will go there, the people give them money, and that's that. But if you poor, if you poor, they look for an individual, somebody with money, they don't deal with it. But if somebody rich and something happened, they give them money and they get it done right then and there.
But still, it doesn't make you, like what I was saying though, it doesn't make you a better person because you have the money. It once again, that's things, that's happening. Yeah. That's why our grandparents said you treat the CEO just like you treat the janitor. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It all goes to who you are as a person, and money can either bring out what you are or humble you. And and that goes to either having it or not having it. Who you are is going to be who you are. That money is just going to accentuate, or lack of money is going to accentuate who you are. Because some people cannot have it, and they still the same jokey, smiling, friendly, kind person regardless. But some people cannot have it, and they're ready to knock you over the head for it. Mm-hmm. They ready to take the change out your change dish. Yeah.
Well, I ain't got it, so I'm still a jokey, smiley guy. I ain't got it, and I damn sure ain't gonna knock nobody over the head because I don't want to go to prison. So it ain't gonna change me. You feel me?
Listen, man. It's crazy though. But I do like one of the things that I can say, Coach, what we were saying today, things that have changed over the years that we like, that we can see as a positive. And that was like what we started the show out with. We talk about the advent of being able to get information, the ability for artists to put their work out and things like that and be seen is much different than it was back when we came along, and we see it as a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
but the add on that too, what I like to change, I like to change from the past to what they now got going on in the future. Man, I remember getting that free lunch and they had that coal behind, doggone whatever meat, mystery meat. You know what I'm saying? So now, listen. So now my mom do the lunch program in Waltersburg. and they got like KFC, what's the other, Buck's Pizza. Then they got and somebody, I forgot who else, but it's like each day is a different meal from one of the sponsors, you know, Bojangles Chicken and all that. I was like, wait a minute, what? We ain't had that. We had the doggone put our little hamburger hot dog by the window to get some heat and knock the ice off of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, but nothing beat them plums though. Them plums and them little juice.
Yeah, shoot, man, them juices be making you mad. Them juices in the Capri Suns, them the devil juices. Cause
It wasn't enough. They give you a mouthful of juice. Like, what's that supposed to do? I mean, garden or something.
But yeah, but you know what? I won't give them days up. You know, them special days, man. And
Yeah.
it teach us to be humble. The little portion that we got, we was happy with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So here's a question I wanted to ask on a previous show, but things just rolled. But I think we have a good panel over here tonight with some sensible people's now.
Oh.
Maybe not.
Oh, Paul, what happened to 6ix9ine?
I don't know.
I hope we didn't run them off.
I don't think we ran him off.
Boy, it was a rough Tuesday night.
Yeah. Host, did you watch the show for Tuesday night? Did any of y'all watch the show from Tuesday night? Okay, like I said, it's on YouTube. Just look up Funky Uncles episode 30. And you'll see the entire show. And as you get to the middle part, you're gonna be rolling. Man, we had a blast on that mug. I'm telling you, but it got to the point where we couldn't do anything but laugh, you know, because it was just, oh my gosh. So the question is, what have you changed over the years that has helped you the most?
Well, I'll go first. I changed my attitude about certain things. I always see the positives in things now than I did when I was coming up. When I was coming up, I always see the negative in things. I was always a pessimist. Now I'm an optimist.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you changed your view on things.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you do that? What steps did you take to change the pessimistic views?
Well, I started hanging around positive people, talking to people, and see how, listen to their point of view about certain things. And then I started praying to God about it. I asked God to take that negativity and pessimism from me. I didn't want to live like that, being a negative person all the time.
Okay. And approximately how long did it take before you could see the change?
I'm telling my age now, Drew. So I started, you might say in my 20s, I was always negative. It didn't start till I hit like my mid 30s, like 34, 35. That's when I started.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you started seeing the change in your mid 30s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because of the schooling that I did when I was coming up. I've always had like negative people in school. Oh, you used to tell me, oh, you can't do this, you can't do, and I started believing that junk. So I'm like, you tell me I can't do it, so I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. So, but then like I said, when I got my 30s, I said, bump that. I'm gonna start looking at the positive side of whatever's going on. And I've been doing it ever since.
Okay. So were you raised to believe that you could pretty much do what you wanted to do, but you just,
yeah,
or you had that growing up too?
No. I was raised, they beat it to you when you're a kid. You can grow up to be anything you want to be. Okay. I had that speech, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just like right now, like I said, I'm telling my age again. Now my goal is to have me a house by the time I get 50 years old. And that's what I'm gonna get.
Okay.
And I still get it now. Oh, I get it to this day. I'm telling you down the truth. Oh, you can't get a house. Stop dreaming.
What kind of negative people? Hey, God.
Thank
I
you.
don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
And
those.
don't
not to be funny, not to be funny, but be honest with you,
know.
it's coming from my
Come
family
here.
members. Certain people in
That's what
my
I'm about to
family.
say. That's what I'm
Mhm,
about to say. Your family.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, that's my goal. I got 3 years to get it, and I'm gonna get it.
I'm with you, sis. I'm with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 years to get it. Then you be 50 in 3 years? Okay.
But that's my
I
goal.
guess I guess I'm the oldest one on the panel.
I'm proud. I'm not even. I ain't gonna say nothing.
I'm proud of my age. I'm 50 years old. I'm 50 years old. I'm happy about it. I mean, the thing is about it, I love about it, man. And then, people that we grew up with, God bless them. They done made their transitions and
Yeah.
the kids, their kids gone, and I have cousins passed away, and you just, and I think, man, COVID opened our eyes up, opened the eyes of a lot of people. That's one thing, because you had to deal with yourself. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And that kind of exposed a lot of mental health stuff going on, because and you kind of reflect on people you deal with, relationships you dealt with, and it's like, dang, I'm in that, I'm that kind of person. You're dealing with yourself, so you make those adjustments, man. And like the golden rule is that treat others like how you want to be treated. So I've been took that long time ago. And then with me is that I grew up in two different environments, because one, I grew up in Walterboro, that I had to work, and what I'm saying, and it was like a predominantly white community. Then when I went home, went home with my grandparents in the country, and that's I went to school there. That's a 1A. So it was like, man, that was like roughing times 20. You know what I'm saying? Because the football field was a cornfield. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't used to that. You know what I'm saying? When I played football for Waltersburg, and it was like, hey, I could rest. But when I went to the 1A school, I'm like, okay, coach, like, nah, you gotta get out defense. Who? Me? No, I quit. I wasn't used to that. So you know what I'm saying? I wasn't used to that type of stuff. So it was a blessing that my grandfather, he taught me how to live off the land. As far as butchering hogs and chickens and farm, because my grandfather was a sharecropper. We dealt with tobacco, we dealt with hay. That's what we did. We went to we call it Ellery, did pick peach and pecans and all that stuff. Yeah, I know that stuff. So with me, it taught me to be very humble and be very patient. Like the kids now, they're like, man, it's hot outside, this and that. The heat don't bother me. I go to work with shorts and long sleeves, long sleeve t-shirt. So that's just how I am, But it's just that a lot of things change. I've seen a lot, dealt with a lot. I just, I held with me being a black man and not opening up. I think I opened up at an early age versus kept everything in. Because I felt like if I kept everything in with all the stuff I went through, I would have been a different person today. I think I'd be a more aggressive person. I'd probably be locked up or in jail. But with me opening up to friends and family members, they're probably like, man, you tell all your business. It's not, about your business, but you just want somebody to hear you vent. And when somebody hear you vent or whatsoever, then you can see something different that you haven't seen yet, or kind of help you figure it out. And then when I started going to law enforcement, working the prison system behind that fence, a whole different perspective. I said, man, God blessed me. God looked over me. They said, God watch over babies and fools. So I knew I was a baby and I knew I was a fool back then because some of the stuff I did. So I said, man, he, mm-mm. And like I said, like the grandparents, like who was it? Shirley Caesar said I had a praying grandmama. Okay, that's what it was.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I know that feeling. Lord have mercy. I should have been gone 10 times. Pray, watch over this foolish great grandson of mine. Cause this joker here is better than a fruitcake. So don't have no business up over there. Boy, if you don't take your mind home and sit down, I'm gonna tell you something real that I'll never forget. My great grandmother, very religious woman. When I first started reading, she had this big Bible, this huge Bible. She would sit it in my lap and just point and tell me to read. So I just learned to read, and I'm going over these words, and now I'm just reading stuff I don't know nothing about. But I'm learning to read more now. She didn't watch much TV, and I was a TV head. And on Saturdays, I would love when college football would come on. I'm watching, I don't care who's playing. My great grandmother would come in here and look at the TV, and they paying on the crowd. And she'd be like, ooh, look at all them people. No, they need to be in church. Back at her like, what? It's Saturday. They need to be in church.
Hey, I can feel that. I feel that because growing up in the country and cross, we've been to church and they didn't have those instruments, the drums and this and that. They had scrub boards, and I'm like scrub boards, harmonica. Then they had the 2 spoons snapping on the knee. I'm like, man, this is some what? But hey, we've been to church, brother. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, God, dog. I said, man, all the bad I'm doing, and I'm in church. I know I'm going to heaven because man, I've been to church every Sunday, Wednesday, and they had Bible discussions and stuff during the week too. And I said, man, but hey, I want to trade in for the world.
Right. Welcome HD. Welcome HD to tonight's show. We lost Hope. She probably signal or he had something to do, but we know how that goes. So who's next? HD. The topic tonight is, what's the topic tonight, peoples? People paying attention.
She probably looking at P Valley right now.
Thank it. Things that we changed about ourselves. For that may, as we came up, probably starting in the 20s, like Stacey did. When we have that invincible feeling, where we feel like we're invincible in our 20s, and then as we go through our 20s, it leads up to certain things that changes certain things in our life. And Stacey said that she changed her perception on things, where she was pessimistic at one time, and she's leaning more on the optimistic side now. And she said, it took a while, but she stayed at it, and so now she's much more optimistic, and she doesn't listen to the people who tell her she can't. She knows she can. That's what I'm talking about, Stacey. Big Stacey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, how you doing, Stacey?
Good.
Who's next?
Good to see you again. Well, I can give you a perspective from growing up as well. I have a different outlook, and
It's always.
the way in which I communicated, I always knew that communication was important because they used to always say it. How a lot of times we, as even young adults, we tend to mimic things and repeat things that people say all the time because it's just a commonality. They'll sit up here and say, well, communication is key. Communication is important. Well, I've always known that, but just didn't know how that it was really meant. So I would basically say everything off the top of my head, everything that was in my heart, And growing up with brothers and stuff like that or whatever, having witnessed some of their conversations before, wasn't always the best perspective. I'll put it like that because hearing them, and having a couple of choice words they would say, and seeing that it worked for them, I thought maybe it'll work for me too, right? Step here, say a couple of choice words, they hang up the phone, and the phone will ring again. Like, I told you, baby, beep, beep, beep. Like, hang up again, and then they'll call back again. I'm like, I got to try this. That's probably what life is all about, right? This is the way to get everything off your, even if it means it was pretty foul or whatever the case, you just got to get it off your chest. So I got it off my chest. I learned from the best. At least that's what I thought, right? So I came across this one lady that wasn't having it. A lady that really was digging. I just, I felt, like I said, that perspective was, you know, communication is key. Why can't she understand? That's the way I feel. Why you gotta say it like that? What difference does it matter how I say it? It's this or that or whatever it is, right? But now things have changed, and just like in scripture, as Paul said, when I was a child, I thought the child behaved as a child, but now that I'm a child is, and I'm a man, and I look at that perspective that was drawn back then, and I remember just how foolish I was. And now that I am better apt to be able to say the things that are on my heart without having to feel.
That's right.
Only thing it takes now is just a comparable of me, being that we're just able to dialogue and say the things that are on our heart without having to hurt.
Okay. Okay. So as you decided to make that change, what was it that made you decide, you know what, this is not how I want to be? What sparked that change?
In terms of communication, what changed is the active listening, the active intent to understand someone before me.
Mhm.
I used to read this book. I told you I always talk about this, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Stephen Covey wrote that book. And he says seek first to understand before being understood. Well, it didn't resonate with me as a 25-year-old, I'm in college or whatever the case. I said, who in the hell want to understand somebody else before they understood? Hell, I'm trying to be the one understood, right?
Right.
I'm young, I'm aggressive, I have this feeling, this urge in my heart to get my emotions out, right? Communication is key, right? I'm telling you what's going on.
He froze.
Listen, right?
Yeah.
But no. But 15 years later, when I was engaged to this young lady, I was 40 years old. And you know how you have those hard pressed conversations that last all the way to midnight, even 3 o'clock in the morning, and you got to go to work at 7 o'clock. One of those headache banging type of conversations. You just, no matter what you say, nothing is gonna resolve the issue. And just at that moment, when I sat up there, I said, "Oh Lord, I'm gonna have a seizure or something." I don't know what's going on. I just can't win. You know, I, I don't know what else to do. So I go into a room. That was the best thing because I didn't have a basement. So it's a very short walk. That's the only thing I could do besides going to a bathroom and locking the door. Can't escape her. I go into a bedroom. I thought about it, and that's when the light bulb came on. And he was, Stephen Covey was in my head at 40 years old, 15 years later, saying, seek first to understand before being understood. I said, I got it. I got it. And I took a piece of paper and a pen. I went back out and I continued on the conversation. and I'm looking at her actively writing down things or whatever. And as I'm listening, I'm writing down. She paused in the middle of a conversation and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm writing down what you're saying. So why are you doing that?" Well, I want to make sure I'm understanding what it is that you're saying. I want to make sure I'm listening. And if I have any sort of issue or a rebuttal to some points I want to make sure I cover those too. And two things it did for me. One, didn't it allowed me to increase my awareness and actively listening to the other person by writing stuff down to the point now I don't have to write anything down. I can just listen to you, know that okay, these are some points I'm going to hit. But it took that for me, having to do that repetitively, in order to gain that sort of skill set. The other thing it did for me is it allowed her, even if she didn't do the same exact thing that I did, which is take a piece of paper and write things down to actively hear me, it stopped her from just shooting things off the top of her head. Because everything I had, she had a fast rebuttal for. Well, it stopped all of that because she knew that I was paying attention to her. And once a person knows that you're actively listening to them, to try to gain insight, the whole dynamics change. So even though we didn't work out, of course, but
It happens. It happens.
but still, there's a lesson to be learned no matter what journey. Okay?
Yes, your increased comprehension really changed.
It really did.
It
And now
changed.
to this very day, I'm 52 years old now, and I can tell you, I've had many discussions, and sometimes it's strange because, growing up, it was always the women that had that perspective greater than men. Many times in my life, in my growing up, I'm used to seeing like women conversating with one another. It was a common thing, they always. But for me, as a man, it wasn't so common to be talking to another dude about, personal things or conversations about relationships and things like that or whatever.
Right.
This whole thing, this whole dynamic now, even in this era, now you're starting to see platforms with men being able to have that sort of communication with one another, being able to talk, and it's actually having that sort of conversation with women that women are not particularly used to, and it's changed, and I could see that, but it's always been like that. And for me, ever since I turned 40, when I actually turned over a new leaf.
Okay. That's what's up. That's what and I can understand that. As we go on in life, that's one of the reasons why I asked the questions. We go on in life, we see things that we find to be pitfalls. And some of us actively work on those pitfalls. Some of us just say, oh, that's just me, or, God knows my heart and this, that, and the third. But those things that you actively work on to better your life for you, knowing that you have to deal with others, are the things that make your life better. So that's just one of the things, because anybody, as I say, anybody who will watch this later on may have a similar issue with themselves, or know somebody, or whatever the case may be, and become inspired to say, okay, well, you know what I was doing, what the H? Crazy behind cat.
I thought you was talking about something.
Oh, he just came in, right? Because there's a hole in the screen, so he can record. And take this food and he jumped in my lap. I'm like, what the devil? Nutty behind cat, what you running from? Jeez, big bad monkey. But anyhow, well, I'm trying to tell you, country life. But yeah. Who's next up? Next on the menu.
Me.
Go ahead.
Okay. As I was listening to HD, I think this season, I think I'm going through the same thing, learning how to understand someone before I understand exactly what I'm feeling or whatever. I think I'm in that season, but I think I'm also in the season where I'm kind of like turning a new leaf, is not allowing people to say things to me that just don't add up, or it's not making sense, and I just let it blow over because I just don't want the conversation. I don't want the problems, don't want the issues. So I just kind of like just go home and think about what they said a million times instead of just saying, what did you say? That, like I just allow things to be said to me that I go home and I contemplate, like, that was so wrong. Why did they say that? So I think I'm learning now to listen. When someone is talking to me, I'm starting to understand exactly where they're coming from. And even if they say stuff like, well, you're delusional, or you're not hearing it, or they gaslight me and things like that, I'm starting to learn terminology when it comes to communication and behaviors. So I think that's what I'm doing better this year when it comes to personally for myself and others who are in my circle and who wants to be in my circle. I'm starting to look for what I want versus what I don't want, what I will accept and what I won't accept. So I think that's something that I've been working on, because I've just been letting a lot of stuff slide when it comes to people. If they say something, I'll be like, that didn't add up. And then I'll go home and I'll be like, thinking about it a million times. Like, why didn't I say anything? It's like fear would grip me to just say, hey, no, you can't say that to me. At one time, it was really bad. I would just shut down and just be sad and not talk about it, and still be sad the next time they see me. So I'm getting better communicating my feelings, I guess, and learning.
So how long, okay, so you said that's something that you're working on now.
Yeah.
So evidently that from what's that saying to me, I'm listening, actively listening. That's saying to me is that it's been a buildup for years and something that you wanted to change. Because you want, look at here, kitty cat, go over there and eat. It's something that something that you wanted in your life to make your life better, to be able to understand others, but not only understand others, you want them to understand you as well. And you don't want it to linger. You want to be able to say that then, so that the communication is, the communication at that time is full. There's nothing left.
Yeah. It's like difficult conversations make people uncomfortable with you. So I was the one who said, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. So I don't want to have the uncomfortable conversations. And if it's uncomfortable, then let me just skip over it and I'll be okay. And maybe we can kind of like somewhat, he or she will change it and we can just move forward. But it never happens that way. So it's like, I just constantly keep going through a cycle of allowing things to happen. So I think the best thing that I did do is just learn people for who they are. If they show you, that's it. That's the main thing that I know I've learned. If someone shows me something, I believe it off top. But there has been, I don't know if it's naive or a comprehension impediment, where as people would say certain things and I would question it because it didn't sound right. It didn't feel right. My spirit was like, that's not right. And then later on, somebody would say something, it'll be confirmation. I'll be just watching a video or something and it'll be like, boom, right there in front of me. It gave me the answer. Like God always does that for me. And then I'm like, okay, God, I'm gonna need you to help me before I go through the cycle again. So that's it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So have you felt that lack of communication, the broken communication, I guess that would be a better way to put it. Have you found where you've missed out on anything because of the broken communication?
What do you mean?
Let's say you misinterpreted, well, because the intent versus interpretation isn't always the same when people are speaking. So feel like, okay, well, maybe there was a opportunity there, but you missed it, or there was something there that you thought was there that wasn't there.
No, it's the opportunity. It's the moment that someone says something to me that I know is wrong. It makes me feel sad, or it makes me feel like, how could you say that to me? Or it hurts me or something. And then I walk away from it instead of addressing it head on, because uncomfortable conversations for some people, they don't want to do. So I just take what they don't want to do back with me, and I process it, and and all the other stuff that I told you that I do, until God brings confirmation, and I'm like, I knew it. So yeah.
Okay.
Because they'll tell you it's that's not what you heard. That's not what it is. And then it's always just what I heard. So it's like playing mental chess games. So I'm getting better at the chess games, basically.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Wright? You over there working, or are you?
Man, eyes are folding up clothes here, partner.
Okay.
I thought I said mine already, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess it's my turn. It's my turn. I think one of the biggest things that I can say that's helped me the most is actively learning. I had a different foundation where I learned a lot. It happened by happenstance. I happened to be around people doing different things, and I picked it up here and there without consciously knowing that I picked it up. And by the time I turned 18, after having been in a boarding school for 4 years, after having summers in New York, spending my years here in South Carolina, I've been around a lot of different mindsets and foundations. And I didn't know, and didn't appreciate, didn't really want to learn what I've learned. But as I've gotten older, I accept people from different backgrounds. I accept people with different ideas, because how else am I supposed to know unless I can speak to and learn from those that actually have been through things, those that have actually had experiences that I may never, ever experience, but I can take that all in and pile that on my pile of knowledge, even if it's vicarious. I'm listening to you guys, and HD talked to you a little bit here. I've talked to Princess a little bit here. I've talked to Stacy a little, talked to Kwame a lot. And even with G and Josh.
What you talking about, Willis?
And I learned a lot from you guys. I learned the possibilities. A lot of people say, yeah, that's not possible. It's possible. A lot of things are possible, even if they're not probable. And a lot of times when in conversation, some people don't understand that some of the things that they can't fathom, I've run into somebody who's done it. And like Stacy said, with her optimism, they told her she couldn't do it. I know people who've done it, or if somebody like this guy I was working with, he's like, I might want to start a bus company. I said, okay. Now, starting a bus company in this small town is a great idea, but I don't want you to jump into it without knowing other factors that you may not be thinking of off top. you know, and that's coming from someone else that I've known that started a business. So the actively learning, the wanting to learn from other people is something that I changed, because in my 20s, it was all about me. It was all about me. Man, you couldn't tell me I wasn't the ish. You know what I'm saying? Without the funk. So that's one of the things that what are you doing now?
That was around the Burning Sands era.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah, the Burning Sands time. Oh, you couldn't tell me I wasn't. Listen, in 2.5 years, man, I was rubbing elbows with celebrities, and you know what I'm saying. I had a spot with my roommates, and you know, we hang out whenever we wanted to. And man, like Kwame came. We went to a strip club around the corner from the crib. We go up in there, and everybody's saying what's up to me like I own the joint.
That's all they know is that's all they do is flex.
I'm talking about the DJ. The MC go on break and hand me the mic. You know what I'm saying? So I come in there, Flex, you want your regular 2? Yeah, let me get my regular 2 beers, get the same thing for everybody. All right, yeah. So
and then the fact is, during that time, during that time, I was going through going through changes in my life, because I was at the sheriff department at that time, at that age, and just dealing with different things. And that was when I went there, and that was like let your hair down, and just I don't know, man. It was just something. It was something. But when I came back, I had a different perspective, different attitude about things. Yeah, that was a crazy weekend.
and I may be overstepping my bounds, but I think all of us have had those type of situations where we stepped away for a second and came back, and we rubbed our eyes and began to see things a little different, you know. And maybe that's what sparked the change in our lives. You know, like, oh, well, yeah, this ain't working for me anymore. This is just crazy, you know. I used to hang out all the time till my daughter said, Daddy, what time you coming home? I'm like, what? What you mean, what time I'm coming home? Yeah. What time you coming home? You go out with Boogie? Yeah, I'm going out with Boogie. What time you want me home? 11 o'clock? Whoa. 11 o'clock, party don't even start for 11. 12 o'clock. I said, look here. How about I make sure I'm home before you wake up? Okay. And at that point, you know, I started going out less and less and less. My daughter started that. So that's how it is.
Yeah,
you know,
like a young lady said to me, I was training. He was one of my training class, and so I'm like, she was doing the vape, and she said, I gotta sneak and do the vape, because she said I used to do like 4 or 5 packs of, a week of cigarettes. And I said, what made you stop doing the cigarettes? She said she saw her daughter roll a piece of paper up and cross her legs and pretending like she was smoking a cigarette. So right then, and this child was like 3 years old. So she said that's why she stopped smoking. You know what I'm saying? That's why she stopped smoking. I said, well, you doing vaping just as dangerous as a cigarette.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
It
true.
It is. It may even be a little more dangerous because of the metals that's in it. And that's I can taste the metal. That's why I can't vape. I can taste the metal, and and I can feel the metal in my teeth. And I said, I just can't do it. Yeah. I just can't. But it's not
hope you ain't better be glad you ain't got no feelings. Remember when you had a feeling? If you have a feeling and you get that aluminum foil,
oh, when we used to make our own grills with the aluminum foil.
Nah, with the doggone spearmint chewing gum wrapper. That's what I used to do. oh, AC laughed like he did that before.
I've never did that.
and the candy.
I dealt with a lot, so it's when I think about it, there's a lot of things I wish I could have. No, I take that back. There's a lot of things I went through though. I just put it like that. I didn't really like myself when I was younger. I never really felt like I mounted up to all of my siblings because everybody had good hair, long hair. I was the only one that had short hair. I felt like basically the Tito or the Jackson, so to speak,
Not Tito.
or the other
Tito.
Chico DeBarge of the DeBarges. Just one of those type
Mhm.
of people. I didn't really connect well, and it's funny how your childhood comes into your development when you get older. As you age, you think that there are certain things that you need to be able to do or to be able to measure up to feel like you're somebody. And here I am in high school for the 4 years, sitting up here watching people grow taller. I am this little runt, you know, short hair. I'm having to, my mom did well for us. There's no knocking that or whatever. It's what I'm seeing, our guys, they flex. They got new gear, the latest gear, gym shoes, whatever. Well, mom did what she could for us. It was, you know, at that point, not at that point, but at this point in my life, I could appreciate what I went through. Um, and seeing people, how women would just make googly eyes at the guys that had good grade of hair, caramel skin, tall, lanky, dark skinned guys. Everybody wanted a man that was 6 feet, this, dark skinned, this, and blah, blah, blah. I hear all of that, but then they would sit there and say, well, they didn't want the guys that would sit up here. They know they being played because they always come in with that type of game talk. And I always felt in my heart I wanted to say the kind of things in my heart that really truly mattered, but it sounded like games, so I didn't speak much, you know. So a lot of those years were held back because of the fact that I thought I had to measure up, but I didn't want to be misconstrued. I didn't want to be in a bind where I'm sitting up here because I did, uh, mention it was like one or two women my entire high school, you know, years that I've actually given a compliment to. And it had to be that I was very comfortable at that point, at least to know them every day, talk to them, hey, how you doing? Oh, you look nice. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. But she'll go turn around and go with that rugged, you know, person that she used to talk smack about all the time. You hate that. But long story short, here I am. I said to myself, I vow that when I get older, I get a job, when I graduate, my, by all of the things that I think that is gonna take in order to acquire the things that I desire. The women, clothes, cars, this or that, or whatever it is. And here I am at this great job, buying all these clothes. I was so vain. Oh man, I was so vain. I bought all of these clothes. I bought the ties, the match, the shirt, my socks. They could tell that what sort of underwear I had on just because they saw the tie that I wore because everybody knew it. You know what I mean? That's just how vain. But I didn't know how to still even accept that because I wasn't used to talking to women like that. It wasn't like I had that gift of gab or whatever the case. So here we are, and I'm thinking I want more and more attention because it just couldn't stop. It just didn't stop. I just kept thinking that I had to have something. Something's not right. Maybe I'll just get dolled up, dressed up or whatever case, put on a nice suit, whatever case. And man, I'll tell you, it was bad, man. I had to design my forehead. I mean, not the forehead, the back of my head. That's when they were making all them different designs. That was the thing back then. Had the word Mustang in the back because I had a Mustang car. I'm sitting up here, I'm
Wow.
driving. I go
Never,
up to first time going to a club. So I go to a club and just to go to the bar and have two drinks. And I stayed there for 2 hours. Like, what the hell am I expecting? 'Cause I'm not going to a woman, but I'm expecting a woman to come to me, you know? And I left smelling like nothing but cigarettes. Nothing but cigarettes. I get all dressed up and everything, cologne, everything, just to come back from the health club and smell. bad. You know, so I come home, I'm looking in the closet, I'm looking at all the clothes that I bought, all the shoes. I have just shelves of cologne, you know, top to bottom. And I said, Lord, what am I doing? And I just started bawling, crying, man. I said, I feel so alone.
Mm.
And I don't know what it's gonna take. I'm still empty. I bought all this stuff. I did all these things. Here it is. For years I've been handling these sorts of issues, you know, not knowing where I belong, not feeling like I'm good enough or whatever the case. I did all this stuff and for what? Just to still feel the same exact way. And that was my turning point in life. And it increased, it helped increase the value state of what I view now. When I look back, it allowed me now to be humble. And I don't mind being vulnerable for the sake of strength because that's what it means to me. When people say vulnerability, they always think of weak individual. But for me to be vulnerable, I mean, like I said, I've sat there many nights crying and wondering because I had to have that release, but it made me stronger and it made me value the things in life that were really truly important. It wasn't the clothes, it wasn't the shoes, it wasn't the money, it wasn't the car, it wasn't even the women. I thought I wanted it like that, you know, and I did maybe temporary for that time, but as I got older, I realized just how shallow it was. I mean, not the desiring part because we all have it, right? But the part where I felt like I had to have so many other things, you know, and I didn't need it at all. It's all right to just be who I am, me.
I mean,
I didn't know
I
that.
feel, I feel you on that, HD, because similar situation. Because in school back then, if Derek can remember, you had the Renegade, you had Scott Adams, Bernard Kennedy, you had Seabrook, who else? There's a host of other guys, Taurus and all those boys. You had God Bless the Dead, Mark Malone, and all these guys. And I
Oh
grew up around
wow.
these guys. And I grew up around these guys, and so I always, I don't know. I think it's come from in the home. This my opinion from the home. For is I had different my sisters and myself got different fathers. So you hear the story like, oh, you ain't amount to be shit. Excuse me. Because I wasn't the son and this and that and the third, and that kind of a young kid at that time, that kind of bothered me. So my thing was, I always, I stayed in Walterboro, but I always stayed in the country with one of my grandparents. So they raised me, and I knew the values of being humble and then the little things. You know what I'm saying? But when I used to cry not to go back home to Walterboro because I knew that what the situation was. And then at the time, he didn't know he was going through that situation because he's a Vietnam war vet, and he had, with Agent Orange and all that stuff coming back over this side of the world. But yeah, I went through that similar situation, and then, I mean, like I said, I had praying grandmother. Like they kept me still in church every time I go to the cross, and then my cousin from New York, he came down and he gave me this book. The magazine was GQ magazine. So I'm like, man.
I remember
so
those. I remember those.
so listen now, GQ magazine. I'm like looking in the book. So I used to walk. I used to walk to King. It was a King Edwards. Right? You remember where King Edwards at? In Waldsburg used to be. You remember Western Auto Flex?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
King
yeah.
Edwards right there. I used to walk right there and get that. I used to save my little money, raking the yard and stuff like that. And I just get that magazine, GQ magazine, and it had clothes I know I could not afford, but I got something similar look like that, and that's how I start, put my wardrobe together, just and that and the third. And then it's like, man, I don't know what happened. You know, I then just stopped being funny in school, start talking to people. And then that's how I came popping. And I started dancing because I used to be in front of the TV, watching Soul Train, Donnie Simpson on BET, you know, breaking
He
any
can
movie
back,
can,
boy.
you know,
He
and
took it back.
so that's how I came. That's how I came popular in school. Shoot, I was in seventh grade dating 11th and 12th grade, you know, juniors and seniors. And then when I got to eighth grade, I almost went to the prom. I almost said, "Oh hell no, you ain't taking my son to no prom. You what? This boy in the eighth grade." So you know, and it just I don't know, man. It's like I said, it was a blessing in the sky from going through changes like that. And then it
Right.
kind of, you know, now when you look at it now, it's like we had a mild dose of mental health. You know what I'm saying? Because what we was going through. Because you know now these days, yeah, men we're talking up now. We're talking to one another, trying to help others through situations. Because if we could have did it back then, stop being a punk, or start, are you funny, or you gay, or something like that. No, it's
Right.
not about that. We,
Right.
you're not being strong because you're talking to somebody. You got to get it out. You got to release it. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to be, it ain't got to be another person. You can cry out. There's plenty of times. I went through that stage and said, "Oh, I'm gonna take my life." My mom always said, "Go ahead, let me know. I'll put some more insurance money on you." You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
you go
Like
through
mom.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's just a lot of stuff that you've been exposed to in your childhood. I mean, I was well seasoned. I used to get weapons. I used to get whippings from my sisters because they did it, but I took the heat for it. You know what I'm saying? I just went through a lot, but it don't bother me. Now I'll say, I'm glad I went through that because that made me the man I am. My mom said, "Hey, that's your problem now. Cause you are this falling woman, you're cooking all the time, this and that. Let a woman be a woman." But I like told mama, I said, "Well, I understand where you're coming from. I really do. But hey, I mean, if she work all day and I'm home, I'm gonna sit there and wait till she come home to cook. No, I'm gonna go ahead and cook. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I'm gonna go and cook. So that is me. She, uh-uh.
And look at how we have two people here in two totally different geographic areas that can find a commonality in their growth. You know what I'm saying? South Carolina and Chicago, but yet you have two brothers that can come together and say, you know what, I know exactly what you talk about. And that's the type of conversations that can come out, and many of us can bond. We can find that common ground where we can understand each other. We can understand if that was in your foundation, I can understand why you did some of the things you did. I may not have made the same decision. I may not have gone the same route, but I understand because that was one of my options. Now
So
you,
so
huh?
I'm sorry, Flex. I'm sorry. So the question is the upbringing that the upbringing that we was we was raised, and now you have kids. You really can't bring your kids up with them same strict values because the system's involved. Understand that? And then they got people. You got people in whisper in their ear. "Oh, you good at home? You straight? If not, just let me know." And then next thing you know, somebody coming to your house doing a health and wear check, making sure your kid's good. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, right now these kids now, man, they're very easy to be influenced by other people. Other people, man.
So I have to ask permission first, because I'm going to ask Princess this question, because I know that she is homeschooling. So she has a unique perspective that we don't have. But once again, if you ask somebody something who's going through it, you can have a better understanding than just guesstimating. So Princess, with you homeschooling, your young man, what problems do you see that you're avoiding by not sending him to school, and what problems do you see you having? What's the one thing you're missing and the one thing you're gaining?
I think what I'm gaining out of it is having to be able to teach my son the things that I want him to know, what's going to benefit him as he moves forward in life and school and history, knowing about his roots and things. So that gives me a chance to kind of like nail those things down, study with him, explore with him, do all those things that he probably couldn't do in a class together with me. And another thing that I think not having Malachi in public school is the best thing for me. Because it's different now in schools. Kids are more influenced by so much stuff, by the internet, friends. Kids are in other homes teaching other kids stuff when they come to the public school. They're bringing stuff in the public school. So that's a great advantage for me, not having them in the public school, because public school kills, period. Whether it's killing your self-esteem, like my daughter, before she graduated high school, she had anxiety to go into the school because she felt like the kids was going to pick on her. They was going to call her brace face, all of these names. And every time she would come home, I would have to reprogram her and let her know who she was until she got to a point to understand what I was saying. And it added up in her life as to what she felt. What I was calling her was who she is. So with Malachi, you know, I don't hear all the extra stuff that's at the middle school or the elementary school. I don't hear none of that. None of that is coming in my home. And we get to have church when I feel like having church. We get to pray when I feel like praying. It's just so much advantage to Malachi and me being able to homeschool him and him being home with me. I love it. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
So I got a question, right? So will you feel there'd be a difference if the same teachers that we had back in our days are there in the school now teaching? Will there be a change of heart?
I do. I remember this lady named Miss Johnson from Cottageville. I don't know if y'all know Miss Johnson.
Oh yeah, I know Miss Johnson. Yeah, we
And
know this.
Johnson.
Yeah,
Miss
that's a
Johnson.
girl. God bless her
Yes.
soul.
God bless her soul. Miss Johnson said one day, she was like, and I'm just, excuse my language, she said, y'all acting like a bunch of jackasses, and I know your mama, because you a Garrett, okay? And act up in here one more time to see what I do to you, and your mama ain't gotta be here. And I was like, okay. So if it was Miss Johnson, somebody like Miss Johnson, who would take responsibility for your child while you're not in her presence, and you can trust your kid with someone, I think I would let him go back to public school. But right now, it's kind of hard for teachers. They're not getting paid at the same time. So what am I asking for? Am I just asking for a teacher to just sit in the class and put a thing in front of him and be like, okay, learn? No, that I don't want that for him. He's hands-on. He understands. He's secure in himself. He understands different things. So he gets to learn a whole lot without being in the school 8 hours a day with other kids who influencing him, trying to get him to do this and do that, peer pressure, being accepted, and all these things that kids go through, rejection and the LGBTQI. Not that I am keeping him from it. I'm insulating him. I'm not isolating him. I'm insulating him at this moment. But I know he's going to see it because he sees it on the computer. Sees it on the internet. But when I pray for my son, I let him understand right from wrong. We had a conversation last night, didn't we? And I said, son, I want you to know that God told me to tell you that your Soul is like a recorder of life. It records everything you do, even when I'm not looking. So you're going to stand one day in front of God and you're going to have to give an account. What is it? Judgment. Judgment day by yourself. So those are the things I get to do with my kids that they're not going to do at the school.
So the conversation was Tuesday. Remember, Flex, what I said?
Yeah.
The teachers, the teachers we had back then, they were more compassionate. There was the gatekeepers for us to make sure we were on the right path for life. So we didn't have all that issues of problems in school. I think when they took away praying in the school, then they started trying to make school more as an educational institution, made it more of like a business. You know what I'm saying? It's cycling people through, pushing people through because they don't want to deal with them. The kids, make sure they get their education or whatsoever. And then, it all goes down the system. The system got the school as it is now. All the teachers, they're, IG models, and you got kids messing with the teachers, or, all these different shenanigans going on is broken.
Broken.
Yeah.
Because we made, because they know, listen, Franklin Smalls, rest his heart, rest his soul,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Miss Miss Brown, Miss Belton Brown.
Yeah.
Shoot, you go down to, Coach.
Roman.
Yeah. So these people, they knew stuff because, we was comfortable telling them, hey, something about to happen. You know what I'm saying? It was about snitching. It was about safety because we cared for one another because we didn't want to see our friends or, get hurt. So everything got shut down right away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we had a probably little fight here and there, but guess what? When the second lunch happened, everybody out there playing. It was no big deal. I think the biggest issue that we had back then, that I can remember that was on that different level of magnitude with that was Kelly and Mark Kelly, or what's his name? At Burger King, he got killed out. You know what I'm saying? So that was the biggest issue, Terry. So that was the biggest issues back then. But we still had a good time. Even though the community was jacked up, it didn't bother us while we was black, but we still, you didn't hear about no cops beating no black kids up in Waldsburg down that time. Yeah, we got a little harassed, but we wasn't like how it is now. You know what I'm saying? We started doing the same thing with white kids were doing, riding down up Jeffrey Boulevard. You got 10 people in the front seat, nobody in the back seat. But the white kids were doing that. So when the black kids did, we got pulled over. You know what I'm saying? We used to go to drive-in theater, to the movies. You know what I'm saying? So we used to do all that. And we still got harassed by the cops. It wasn't nothing about no protests. It was nothing because we know what it was. Okay, we're going to do it again. No, we don't do it again. We do it now and then. But the times has changed. The police don't police the community. Now is the community being the police, and they'll see things and then they let things go on and they know who did it. And you go sit there, I'm not going to ain't my business. But it comes your business when it affects your household. That's when it's your business.
Yeah. Instead of saying it's going to affect the community itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely the biggest change, and it's common for people to say that, especially those that grew up in the 70s and 80s, those that had those wonderful years, 70s and 80s, who couldn't do XYZ because they always had to look over their shoulder because Mr. Such and Such or Mrs. Such and Such might see you, and you already knew what that was. You might as well before you get home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bus driver. I got a spanking by Mr. Murray and Miss Belton Brown, then Miss Joanne, the bus driver, and my mom and dad. I said, wait a minute.
Nowadays, they cussing out the bus drivers. Back in the day, you to cuss out that bus driver, you gonna catch a beat down.
Then you got to
And-
find a way home.
Right. And then it's like this, even if you're a big kid or you might be able to fight and it's a woman and you fight the woman, you got to worry about that lady having kids. She might have sons your age or a little bit older than you, and they're going to beat the brakes off of you. So you think about the situation. Now she got
man.
sons that's seniors. If I swing back on her, ooh,
Especially a female like Angie Broughton or Catherine Brown and she.
right.
Okay.
You ain't swinging on them. You ain't swinging, because if you swing on them, you better believe you better bring everything. You better bring your lunch, the Gatorade, and an oxygen tank, because they
I
about
just might as well go ahead and say, give me a cell or a fine Boham. Just go ahead and make my funeral arrangement. I'm telling you, them girls, man, them girls had dudes scared of them.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember having to go home one time, man. Me and my brother, we was walking past this, the gate, and there was a dog behind it, and every day, same thing, I thought this time, I'll say something back to the dog or whatever case, play around with, taunt.
What, a Great Dane?
It was a German Shepherd, and I'm sitting up here. And they, I'm like, yeah, barking back and forth. They go, so they still, going at it. And, elder lady, she came out. I knew her, and I didn't think that she knew me, though. So she was like, hey, you stop messing with my dog like that. I said, all right. She said, where you live? I said, well, I live around. We had just moved around there, I live around, she was, oh, okay, well, where you stay? Somewhere around there, I'm pointing in the opposite direction or whatever the case. So I stayed on in Chicago, I stayed on 77th and Low. So I went, instead of going the 77 route, I went down the 7600 block. I made a left turn instead of a right turn. So I went all the way around 76, went 4 blocks going east of that 76, go all the way back around the 79, and come all the way back to the back of my house on 77, just so I could see the lady standing on my porch talking to my mom. and as soon as she saw me coming up from the back, she said, there he is right there. She said, boy, get your ass over here.
Think you slick.
And she told my butt up. Yeah, I thought I was being slick. Me and my brother, and get your butt over on. Your ass ain't on in the house.
So,
yeah, I had so many whoopings growing up, boy. I couldn't even count the amount of whoopings I had, man. I could tell you the time it happened, because I could go by my watch on that, about 4 o'clock. We got out about 3:30, 3:35. We made it home for about 4 o'clock. Yep, 4 o'clock on the dot. Time for that ass whooping. So I get in there. I'm pretty sure it was abuse. You know what I mean? Because I saw on the news one time. How you get bad. Now, why is it always you get your ass whooped by the time to eat? I never understood that.
Eat,
eat
or you get ready to go in the tub. You in the tub.
Yeah. I'm like, this is just, cruel, unusual punishment. It's time to eat. I'm hungry. The food is smelling good, and you decide to whip my ass. Now, why? I don't get it. What I mean?
Mary.
And so we sitting up here. We're in the bedroom requiring me and my brother.
Shut up, right?
Right. Shut up. Before I get something. What the fuck? What you just gave me? I'm sitting up here.
Right. How you gonna tell me shut up, just beat me?
Right. So I'm looking at the TV, and that was the first time I seen.
I ain't never understood that statement. These parents like give me something. Then they just say,
But shut up, what? All right, goddamn it, shut up.
Quiet,
What you something up?
Yeah, they
Right.
that's it.
Still say that.
Mm-hmm.
Still say that.
They got hurt. It
I
gonna
don't
hurt you more
understand
than
that.
hurt me.
Lie
I
you
don't
to
understand that statement either.
Mhm.
Right. So I'm sitting up
hey,
here and I'm looking on the news. It said, that was the first time ever in the 80s. They came up. That's when the government stepped in about abuse. 1-800 something abuse.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking to myself, do I call that number? If I
Mhm.
do, I know my mom gonna come back out and she gonna beat my ass again.
Mhm.
So I decided I wasn't gonna do it. I'm just getting tired. So
Yeah.
eventually, back then, when you did something real bad, not only did your mom whoop your butt, but she told your dad, nothing is worse than the anticipation of it. Especially when you're having fun as a kid. Go outside, you're having fun. I'm gonna tell your dad when you get home. All right, man. I'm gonna talk to you now. You stay outside. Well, we feel like having fun after that. I mean, you might as well get it over with right now. I don't want to worry about when he's coming home. And most of the times he ain't come home till like late. But I'm just sitting up here still thinking about that butt whooping I'm gonna get. So
Mhm.
I remember one time it was real good too, man. I must have wore some shorts. And man, back then, because my dad was a truck driver, right? He believed in wearing them cowboy boots, with some big belts with a big buckle on the front, and it had the name Frederick, made into the belt. And I remember going to school because they must have thought it was like some sort of tattoo. What's that on your leg? It had the name
That belt
like
action.
Frederick backwards on my leg, like red.
yeah, but
I
nothing was
Mhm.
had to
worse.
play it off.
Nothing was worse than them telling you you're gonna get a beating, but don't get a beating right then. So now you sitting there
But
worrying
don't
about
get one.
hours
I
and
had
hours.
many of them just to
Get
get
it?
you straight.
Get a beating, Ellie.
They come around you and you go ahead and you get ready. You like assume the position. No, it ain't that time yet. Well, man, come on, man. Go get over it. Jeez. You know,
And let
my
me
Oh
tell you,
man.
one,
man,
my
it's funny
mom
now.
said, your pants down.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it's funny now.
It's
your
funny
Well,
now.
funny then it
Look,
wasn't Mr. Right.
nah, it's funny now, but it's like
Yeah, it's funny now.
my mom works. My mom used to work at Howard Johnson. No, it was we used to live in a Hoggle House in Walterburg, and she was used to work at Howard Johnson. Then she went to Holiday Inn, and me and Tia, look, we ain't in school. We were stay in bed all day long. But Mama came home at 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? She went early in the morning. 3 o'clock, she coming home. Man, we sit there laying up till 12, 1 o'clock. Then we'll go ahead. We'll go and wash dishes. We don't wash dishes the real way. We run a hot water and just wiping the dishes. Uh, so yeah,
How old were you there?
man, we was 7, 8 years old, man.
Yeah, that's
But
about how old I was, about 8.
man, shoot, man, we heard that doggone red and white top Cadova come around that corner. Oh man, we got up and started trying to wash the dishes on that. I was, oh no, no, me, I was well seasoned. I didn't cry when we got a spanking because I don't know. Yeah, my mom today, if she fuss at me, I'll cry. I'm 50 years old. My mom stop fussing at me. I ain't gonna lie, I'll cry. I don't know. I'll whoop up. But as far as a beating, I'm sitting there. I take it like a man. I'm like Denzel in Glory. But doggone, but my sister Tia, my mama said she got tired trying to beat Tia. Every time she swing left, Tia turn right. Mama's hitting her. The doggone. We were getting whipping with no belt. We get whipped with extension cords. So
Oh yeah.
when she, like I said, T was dancing, I'm like, man, look. So Mama was like, Mama said,
My brother
I
caught the
can't beat
Holy
you out
Ghost
there.
when he was dancing, boy. He's like, no,
That's what I'm talking about.
and I'm sitting up here and I'm teasing, I'm mocking him, right? Because I'm his older brother, 'cause I'm like, and I'm just bad, for no reason. So I get my butt whooped.
And listen,
So we
it's so
both go
bad.
back in the room, man. It's like we sit sit up here, we crying, right? We all crying in the second room. And again, it's the time, it's time to eat around this time, right? So we got tired, He's like, yeah, it's that I see. Shoot. we said it under our breath, of course. We said it out like real loud, but we said enough to make a noise, I say, because I'm like, the other thing is like, my dad was the first one to always play. He always get, and so I'm talking to my brother trying to hype him up, he always get his plate first. Say, yeah, motherfucker. He said, I should have said that, right? My dad came back. He heard it this time. It wasn't too much on it. He said, and he bit his lip, the kind of people come back and they bite their lip. I said, I said, oh, yeah, motherfucker.
Oh my goodness.
He said, I ain't going to eat it, motherfucker.
Hey, I got a question for all y'all. How old were you before you figured out you shouldn't say, I ain't gonna do it no more? Because once you say, I ain't gonna do it no more, that just got you some extra stakes. I know you ain't gonna do it no more with your sister.
Them
How
syllables
old were
hurt,
you
man.
before you figured that out?
And look, I don't know. I think when I was born coming out saying that.
I never learned my lesson, man. Like I said, I got whoopers. I got into like adolescence. Yeah.
I was well seasoned.
School. That was
well seasoned.
I was well seasoned. I'm telling you, I was well seasoned.
Anybody in my family could tell you I had the most love out of everybody. And that's probably another reason why I felt the way I felt growing up too. I feel as privileged as everybody else. But I had plenty. But I was pretty good.
Man, when we had family reunions, I got the trophy for that. Who got the most?
And this year's trophy goes to Mr. Bright. You can barely get out of the like, ooh.
Man, please, I done set cornfields on fire with the tractor tire. Shit, boy, I tell you.
Man, we used to ride like the CTA buses. We used to bust the warehouse windows. I mean, we were kids, They already had some of the windows already busted, right? We wasn't doing nothing different,
You just wanted them all to match. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
But now the same actions that we did when we was young, we can't do that in this day and time because either you're gonna end up getting shot or getting sued. You know what I'm saying? So, and like Johnny said, he ain't on there tonight. He said, "Man, I can't mess with them young kids, man. Them young kids don't listen to us, man. Please, leave them kids alone, man. They gonna do what they want to do." But like I said, you sit there, you sit there and take time and talk to these kids. And I don't care. You just have to be consistent with it. You know what I'm saying? You see these kids out in the community. You're gonna see them at that. You're gonna see them at that. Just me talking now. You see them in the community at the corner stores or whatever.
6'8". That sound like him.
Oh man, hey man, I think I ran them off the show, man. My bad. I think I ran him off the show, man. I'm sorry.
HD, you gotta watch the last show, HD. You gotta watch it.
I know, man.
You missed it.
I ran on the show.
Oh my!
I think I ran him. I think between me and Z, we ran him off the show. So yeah,
I ain't talking about
really.
That. It was a good show, but yeah.
Nah, hey, listen, HD, I'm gonna tell you this. If someone tell you, you better not hang a Black Matter flag on your front door or on your yard, because they're gonna kill you, how would you respond?
Hank, I better not do what?
you bet
Amen.
not hang a Black Lives Matter flag on your yard or on your house, on your property, or they're gonna come and kill you. Them people gonna come and kill you. How would you react?
Aggressively.
So, you know,
I can't say what I would do, but I wouldn't take it lightly.
so the thing was
I don't play that.
he, you know,
No, you get a spanking.
the point was, you know, with the shootings at the church, the shooting at the supermarket, movie theaters, and all that. He's like he's not taking his kids. He's not letting his kids go to those places and, you know, things of that nature. And he, you know, he's basically you living in fear. You shouldn't be living in fear. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You should, you know, teach your kids how to see the warning signs or whatsoever. But back to the flag, and so me and Z, and yo, when he asks a question, he won't let you finish. He won't let you answer the question he asks, and he keep on with another question. So it got a little bit arrogant that night. So the, you know, when he said about the black, so he said about the, you know, Black Lives Matter. I said, man, look, if I paid $240,000 for this house, I don't give a dang. I'll hang my doggone drawers on my front yard. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what I can and cannot.
Yeah, that's about what he said.
Hey, you're not nobody. Yes, you know, nobody gonna tell. You know, nobody can come. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. No, he was in that fear of that. If I pay, no, man, come on. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's what I told him. I said, that's what you're teaching your daughters. You know what I'm saying? You can't live in fear. Because if you live in fear, your kids gonna be like they're gonna be just a ticking time bomb. They're gonna be reckless. I mean, your mind, you know, be reckless. Because they're gonna go out with their girlfriends or whatever, you know, oh, you know, they timid, they're gonna be scared. You know what I'm saying? And their reaction, they driving and somebody just pull up behind them or something, and they're gonna cause them to have an accident itself. No, man. Like, you know, and I said, like I said, you know, our God is the biggest comedian in the world. I don't care what nobody say. I still say that. I live by that. And I said, God, you got me good. Cause, you know, back then, yeah, I had a lot of girlfriends and you know, in school or whatsoever. So with that, I said, God, why you got me with 5 girls and 1 boy? That's what I got. 5 girls and 1 boy. So I said, okay, you got me good. But I treat my girls can defend themselves and they can hold their ground. I didn't sugarcoat anything about how how boys act. I'm straight up with them. You know, I don't have to worry about nothing. You know, that's how confident I am with my girls. You know what I'm saying? I say, you know, the boys, I've been them boy. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, look what you made me do. Man, come on. You know, let me stick the head in. All that stuff. Man, we all that process. No, that's how we think. Okay. So they're like, it was in it. And yes, it was an uncomfortable conversation, but that conversation had to
be had.
Right.
Exactly. Shoot, man, please.
I'll tell you about this fear I had growing up, man. I'm sitting up here, I'm walking down the street, and I go the same path every day, right? And there's this dog right behind the gate. And it's a Great Dane. And, you know,
you told that story.
Yeah. And the dog's knees is at the top of the gate, you know. And I didn't know that the dog was behind there until after having a walk past. I didn't know the dog because it was just so still. Right? Or, you know, right, just like the black iron, you know, gate that they had. Just standing pause. As soon as I walked past, he's like, Roo! Man, you never saw, I mean, it couldn't be seen because I felt like my spirit just left me. I was at a pause state, you know, and I felt like, man, I was shocked, and I don't know what sort of fear it was, but I quickly overcame it. anger, you know, because I was like, I thought to myself, why in the hell would they have a dog that damn big behind the gate? And it just came in my mind like that. All of a sudden, I wanted to do something to that dog, you know. So it was like it's funny how psychology, the cycle, you know, the psyche can change like that. You know what I mean? And you would think I would have just went ahead and ran. No, I'm sitting up here. I'm thinking what I could do to this dog, you know, now because I'm mad. I'm set. Yeah, I had a fear and it was temporary, but now I'm thinking if they do the dog and the owner who put that damn dog out there, you know.
But yeah, when you go back over the show, you'll see Josh was like, you know what? I see what y'all saying now. You know, I apologize for that. But, you know, one thing that we had, like we said earlier about the Monique and the DL thing, once you become mature, you have to understand, okay, you know what? This can be handled in a mature way. And instead of just letting it brew or whatever and go over, he did the thing as a mature adult, said, you know what? My bad. You know what I'm saying? My bad. There was no chastisement. Now we laughed, of course, when all this happened, but at the same time, respect that was due to him by coming off as a mature adult. But I gotta say, man, y'all didn't see the show. Like I said, it's on YouTube now. We had another 2-hour show. It was funny. It was a great show, though. You know, I'm gonna tell you, right? It was 2 hours, but it was a great show. So if you're walking around the house, you just put the thing in your ear and listen, and you can laugh with us and all that. But
I ain't doing nothing but egg it on.
That's it. That's it. Exxon. Just straight add it. Gianni over there talking about land the plane, 6, land the plane.
Hey, you talking about Josh?
Huh?
Talking about Josh? He's the
Yeah.
only one that keeps going and going and going.
Exactly.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
he won't give you a chance. He won't give you a chance to answer the question. You know, how about this? OG, how about this, OG? If this person did this, OG, this
Sounds
person,
just
man,
like
come
him.
on.
You sound just like him. Oh my
He
God.
does.
Nah. And listen, I'm gonna tell you this. That's how I used to do in school. I could have mimicked anybody in school. So yeah, I should have been a comedian, but nah, I didn't have the courage to do that. I'll do it around friends and family, but yeah.
And I sent Z a link for tonight, and Z said she has something to do tonight, so she'll probably be on Tuesday. She said she'll try to get on Tuesday, so you know everybody can jump back on Tuesday. We can build this thing to more and more people, and get more and more insight, more and more stories, more and more laughs, and then you know there's going to be that time when we have those topics that's gonna make us look at each other and be like, I can't believe this ninja just said that. But at the same time, like I said, whether you can't justify, but at least try to understand. Like we had 2 people tonight talking about communication and, you know, understanding the other person just like they want to be understood. So, and I know that time is coming and it's coming soon. I just feel it. Something telling me it's coming soon. So instead of everybody falling out, I want everybody to brace themselves and prepare for it, because that's going to be the example of how we as a people get through. We don't let our differences separate us. We just using our heart and our mind and in our spirit, the understanding that we are different in that way. But in other ways, we are similar or the same. And we take, it's like, I used this analogy years ago on my Instagram. I said, you take an orange, you take an apple, you take a pineapple, right? You want the nutrients. You don't take the entire thing to get the nutrients. You take what's needed to get the nutrients and you throw the rest away. And that's what we have to do in order to move forward. We can't just get mad because we can't use it all and throw it away. We take what we can and we use what we can. And that's what we take with us. So we going over the 2-hour mark again tonight. Ching, ching. yeah, they need some celebration, some confetti or something. But
Wait, Drew,
yeah.
let me ask Mr. Wright this question.
Hmm.
Do you know Mr. Ray Perry that was in Cottageville, but
Who?
he's dead now? Ray Perry.
Ray Perry.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see his face.
Okay, well, he's passed away. It's my grandfather.
Oh, but
And when you were
okay.
talking about the butchering, as a little girl, I sat and I watched my uncles and my grandfather butcher hogs.
You see that black
goats.
pot rolling in it.
Yes,
Black pot rolling for crackers, making that
Oh
listen,
sausage.
man,
We still do it. We still do it.
and watching him gut the pig from his private part to his neck and everything fall out.
from the rooter to the
Yeah.
tooth.
I had to watch it. So it just let me know it's a small world because you seen that as a kid, and you're older than me, but I seen and had to go through that as a child too with my grandfather. And what's that? When he grind the meat, what's that? He grind the meat and then he put it in like some type of plastic or something and make like
Yeah,
rice
casing,
pudding.
casing,
Yeah.
the casing.
That's
Yeah,
it.
the
Casing, okay,
Yeah,
casing.
yeah,
Yep. We
yeah.
had to do that
We
with
still
him and
do it.
mm-hmm,
So you're
sure
related
did.
to Perry?
Huh?
Are you related to Andrew Perry?
No.
Okay.
I'm kin to Red Perry because of my grandmother marrying into the Perry family from
Oh,
Cottageville.
okay.
Yeah, Frank Perry and all of them.
Yeah. I
Um,
with a guy named Andrew Perry. That's why I was wondering. I know he's from the area.
oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know any Greens in from Collegeville?
Greens. I don't think so.
No.
I just know,
Okay.
and you know what? I just used to know Jess and Mr. Leon. Miss Jess just passed a little bit. And you know the club right there with Keisha and Billy and Keith. It's
Oh yeah.
it's it's in Cottageville.
Yeah, I know where Leon's at. I ain't never been
Yeah,
inside of it, but yeah, I
Oh,
know where
yeah.
Leon's at. My
that's
my my wife from
right.
Collegeville.
I
Huh?
grew
Mommy, that's Run.
around it.
Aaron Bryan.
Huh?
That's Aaron Bryan
Yeah, I
people.
know.
Run.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. We went to school together. Me and
Yeah.
Run. He just recently passed away. So matter of fact, Run was working with my sister Tia at Denmark. I didn't even know he worked at Denmark.
Who passed away?
Run?
Say word.
Yeah.
When?
Shoot, man. It's been man. Oh, 3, 4, 5 months ago. If that.
Say word. Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he been passed away. My wife is from Collegeville.
Hey,
Shoot, what's your name? What's your name again?
Princess,
Young lady. Yeah,
princess.
Princess. You know, Janine Green. Well, she was a Green. And she was abroad. Now she was abroad, and now she's right.
I think so. I really think so. I can see. I think she's bright skinned
There you go.
and got gray or green eyes. I'm not. I'm not. If do I have the wrong
I
person?
don't know. Let me see.
Brown eyes.
but he
Yeah,
over. I know you ain't
she
looking, bro.
got brown eyes.
Okay. And does she have like a gap in her teeth? Not to be.
No, no. Hold on.
Okay, then that's not the one that I know. Then.
Have mercy. Are
But
you looking?
yes, that's her. That's her. See, that's her. Yeah, I remember her. I said light skin, got brown.
No, you
with
said
green eyes.
you
I
said
said green eyes.
bright skin. You said bright skin. You ain't said light skin.
Yeah, yes, bright skin. What? That's the same. The bright
No,
skin is light skin.
HD is bright skin, and
Yeah,
Janine.
But
that's
HD
what
is
I was
bright
just gonna
skin.
say. Don't get Drew started, please. Don't get Drew started.
Okay, yeah, he's light skin.
HD
Shut
is
up,
beige.
shut up, Mr. Right.
HD is beige.
I was saying beige.
He beige.
Yo,
You go to the
wrong,
store,
man.
he beige. He like who say like the great comedian Red say he baby shit beige.
Oh,
Bro, man. That's
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah,
First, you know
no,
what? I'm gonna
he
need
yellow. He
Hey,
beige.
Mr. Wright, I'm gonna need you to go back in quiet mode. So you was quiet for a little bit. Yeah.
Nah, he beige. Man, he beige.
dang, man.
And that's why I find it so hard to believe that you wasn't allowed to kind of to finish your response with 6A. I know how 6A can be sometimes because I know that you rarely ever say anything, Mr. Wright. I'm sitting up there, I'm like, so for you to say something, I know it had to have, I would have thought it would have, been heard
Nah,
all the way through.
I mean, I just sit back and observe most of the time, and it's get to know
Yeah.
everybody. I know, like I said, I grew up with Johnny, I grew up with Derek, and just different personalities. Just been dealing with people on the group. So once you get to learn everybody and their personalities, and you can say certain things or whatsoever, because you know how things is. Some people take things to heart, and I'm gonna observe you and study you and what you like and what you don't like. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. You know what I'm saying? And once
That's
I
very
get to know
wise.
you, then once I know you, I know how I can talk to you. You know what I'm saying?
Relate.
Because
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Because I won't come. You like, man. After the call or you talk to Derek. Say, Derek, what's up with your brother, man? What's going on with him? He touching it. What's the deal? So
Not
hey, that's what the thing. You don't put yourself
You
out
gotta,
there.
the other person I can relate to that's like that is Stacy. That's one person I can say I sense this whole thing with the conversation. She is very observant. She's very
yep.
quiet.
You can
She'll
see it
say
in
what
her
she has to say.
too. She's like, she
Yeah,
just look,
and you can see
this.
that, and I'm sure if she had anything to have to add, you better be listening because
Yeah.
You
very
know
deep
what
what it is.
you know what HD, you nailed me. You just nailed it on the head. That's my personality for real.
Yeah,
I have
I can see
to
it.
I'll once I get to know you, then I'll come out more and start
Oh
revealing more
yeah,
stuff.
you
But
get
yeah,
comfortable.
but if I don't know you, I
Mm-mm.
might you might get maybe 2 or 3 words out of me. That's it. And I'll just for the rest of the night I'll listen and observe.
All right.
And then the
Like
thing about it now. So, but I call this stage. This is a stage. Is more you conversate on this podcast, Zoom, or whatever you want to call it. It's coming to be a family. You understand that? Because that's what it is.
Right.
When you meet people, you get this close bond. You're networking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how things go in this world now. You gotta be networking, and then if you know what I do, or somebody need help or whatsoever, and your word goes into me. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look out for that individual. Same thing with Flex. Hey, someone in the community need help or support. That's what we do.
But see here, I don't mean to cut you off, but see, I noticed that I'm from the north, and the people up here, what you guys are doing, they're not doing this. They'll it's like they're more like, how can I put it? The people up here in north are more envious and got that jealous type with them.
More
And they all
they're more into self-preservation than
yeah.
the mutual communication.
Right. And by Drew and G, by doing this, I gravitate more people to the south.
To your roots, your ancestors calling. You know your roots from the south. Your ancestors calling.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. And like I said, my family is from the south. They're from South Carolina. So it's like I'd rather make friends here in another state than make friends here in Connecticut.
Mm.
Matter of fact, my wife aunt lives in Connecticut. We supposed to go up there. I don't know what part. Don't get me to lie. But
Well,
yeah,
nice to see you for a change, Mr. Ray, outside of your work.
Oh,
Look
well,
at it.
now I
Look at
see what you look
it.
like. Okay, cool.
oh man, yeah.
Mr. Right, swole too? That's a mother biceps.
That's the T-shirt. That's
That's
them
the
T-shirts. You
t-shirt.
know, you go
The
to
lie.
Marshalls. You go to Marshalls and you get those irregular T-shirts. So I got the one with the shoulders in it. I got the one with the shoulders in it. They got the one, and on Sundays I wear the T-shirt with the one got the stomach print on it. They're
Hey,
like,
so
bro,
you got yours from the baby. You got yours from the Baby Gap.
Nah, man, shoot. Okay, and I can't do Baby Gap. I gotta do Big and Husky. And that's it. This boy wear tough skins. Right? Man, so about
Yeah, we used to have a word for people like that, man. I used to wear the two like short, type, clothes that fitting. You'd be like, hey, that's a little young on you, ain't it?
Yeah, we say that. Yeah. Take your little brother's shirt off, man. Cut that.
Gee. Hey, them hand-me-downs.
Yeah, and them taps. Don't forget the taps back then. Ooh, they catch you with some taps on.
Hey man, I used to wear taps.
You used to wear tight pants. We would for a guy though. If a guy, you catch a guy with some tight pants on back then.
Oh no!
Bruh,
Oh,
you got going, bro.
Back then, when I was growing up,
straight legs was the thing back then, man.
No,
when I was growing up, when a guy wearing tight pants, they called him something else. When I was growing up.
Yeah.
but for real, now tight leg was back then because now if you look at it, how everybody wearing the skinny leg jeans, we used to do that back then because I used to get Levi's and the inside of my Levi pants, I'll get it sewed in and so it'd be straight, you know what I'm saying? Yep. And then then I wear my Pumas and I get a sock and pull in the tongue of my Pumas and put them thick shoelaces. Oh, okay. What? I'll let your boy. See.
That's right.
Right. You couldn't tell me nothing. Man, boy, I used to kill him back in the days, boy. But I can relate what you were saying, HD earlier about you buying clothes and this and that at that age.
Yeah.
So I went through that process. I went through that process about I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh wow!
When I started working for this government contractor, so they gave me a clothes allowance. I got a $500 clothes allowance a month.
Yeah.
So man, look, from Florida all the way to Scarborough, Maine, or Freeport, Maine, to Minnesota, to Texas, I done hit every Ralph Lauren Polo outlet store. I got stuff with yo, I'm telling you, I got stuff in my closet. Still got tag. Look, all white beaters, underwear, shorts.
I know.
I mean, I gave stuff to my son, button ups. I mean, from the and then I mess around and start. Pat Riley had the pineapple collar. I didn't know nothing about that, bro. The pineapple collar, shirt collar, business collar, the pineapple. It don't go like it just go. Man, I got a bunch of them in there. Polo button up, man, please. Man, boy, shoot. I'm telling you, I had people mad at me talking about why you dress up all the time. It ain't dressing up, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I wear khaki shorts or khaki pants or button up or a polo shirt. I mean, I'm in the truck helping those guys out. And they're like, you're going to get dirty. No, if you know how to drive and operate this, you ain't got to worry about getting dirty. No, man.
I was so much in that era, man. I felt like, I don't know if it was even a such thing as just being square to be like that because that's the only way I knew how to dress once I was.
But
I
see,
didn't know how to be any other way. I didn't even know how to dress
exactly.
down,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
I used to.
so this the question. Listen, hold on, HD. So this the question. So did anybody say, man, you funny? Cause you always dress up like that all the time? Tell me you gay or funny? All like people used to ask me that. He said, man, you always
Me,
dress up. You gay? You a
me,
pretty boy? Or and the thing about, oh, you a Kappa? Oh, a Kappa, why?
right,
Cause I dress that way? Come
right.
on, man.
Yeah.
I had about 12 pairs of khakis, like 10 khakis in college. And one of the reasons why I had the khakis like that, the tan and black khakis, is because I'm colorblind. So it was easier for me to match. So the majority of what I wore was casual, partially because in high school, that was the dress code. So I took what I had from high school and carried that on. But they look at me, oh, you always dress, you always got a button up and yada. You hardly ever wear jeans. And I'm like, so that's just how I dress though. I'm fly though. You know what I'm saying? I'm fly with it. You know, I look good, smell good. But then, are you gay? Do you like that? No, I don't want to like no dang on guys. For what? What, to play ball with? Yeah, I like the hoop. But other than that, nah, bro. So, but yeah, they'll take those, the mindset, the small mindsets of our people.
Oh
With
yeah,
a
Yep.
because
look,
like I told you, Drew, I wasn't the guy to approach a woman. You know how sometimes egotistical men could be. You know, they're like, well, a man's supposed to go chase the woman. You know, this that. I'm like, well, yeah. If I feel like I have a connection with her, and I feel like I could entertain the thought of having, talk to her, I may go ahead and do that. But it was highly unlikely. For
yeah,
me, I didn't have that game. Like,
me,
you see some of the other guys who like, hey, baby, ooh, I can play around, I can play like that, but I can't get serious like that, man. Back then, I couldn't do that, be like, hey, baby, so what's going on,
yeah, but you was light
you
skinned,
know,
bro. Sure was hot
Exactly.
and
Back
print
there,
and,
Shalimar,
and I don't mean nothing,
and shot
Lamar, shut
head,
up, just
witch,
shut up, Mr. Right.
the barge.
This is
All you had to do was
hey,
crazy,
look,
Lamar.
he was
ooh,
the Yeti. Listen, man, hey, we could have took Light Bright with us, and he just pick up the mic and like, oh, fall out.
Man, you lost your mind. You lost your
What he said? What he said on play? Just in case. Nah, you thought you were.
hey, Kwame, I can see us hanging out right now. We walking through Chicago. They walk by. Is that Howard Hewitt?
Oh, he lost some weight.
Uh-oh,
You
Drew.
had doggone. You had Tamika. Tamika. Oh, he lost his baby hair. He ain't got a baby hair no more. He
Y'all
ain't got
crazy.
a baby hair. He ain't got his shirt buttoned out to the navel.
Hey, but you know what though? This is the rep I used to get. People would never think about that. They didn't know what side of the fence I was on. I mean, black be like, oh, he white, or he light skinned. White people say the same thing, but he black. And I had opposition on both sides. Because I've already was feeling the oppression, you know,
Right.
from the other race. And then for my own people, it was like, we like people. Why we gotta be like this?
He
So I mean, it
persuasion.
was a double whammy. It was a double whammy for me, man.
Oh
But
man.
for the dark
Oh.
skinned people, he had that gift because they
Oh.
already knew what they were already up against. So it was more or less easy for them. And plus, all the ladies were digging them. Unless you were like,
Man, where you getting that? Where you
That
was at?
crowd.
yeah,
That's
man, I'm
Man,
serious.
come on.
Man. Ask these ladies
been
on
like
here.
that.
Man.
I guarantee
Wasn't
back in the day, it was the dark skinned man and the caramel hair guys with the good hair. That's who
He
it was.
said
And all
karma.
nice
No, it wasn't.
caramel skin guys.
Not in
It
South
was
Carolina.
the
That's who it
red
was.
guys that was in style.
The what?
Tell them.
The red guys was in style
The red
Just,
guys,
back in the day.
yellow
just
guys.
like AD. He
Red.
baby beige. He baby beige
Mhm.
color.
Shut up.
Mhm.
I'm trying to tell you, my best friend in high school was high yellow, and I hang with him. Okay, we used to go to, like, we had passes to Hershey Park every weekend. Well, for when it was open,
I
so we
hate
go
that
out
place.
with Sean. shoot, the Sean gonna draw the girls. Light skinned dude, high yellow. Hey, I'm hot. Yeah, that's my dog right there. Right there.
I hate that place.
Huh?
I hate Hershey Park. They go on that little ride, show you how to make the chocolate. Where they get the
Oh,
darn,
Chocolate World. Yeah.
we show you how to make the doggone chocolate, whatever. And at the end, you think you get a big old bar. They give you a doggone miniature candy bar. And they want to charge you. Then they want to charge you almost $20 for a picture that you took while you was on the little ride. I'm like, man, no. Shoot. But the candy is fresh. We just made it. No, I don't care.
Yo, I'll tell you what we did. We didn't have much money, all right, because we had an allowance of 75 cents a week, and that wasn't much. You got up to $2 as a senior, but after you go through the ride and you walk through Hershey Park, they had these cookies. They had some of the best chocolate chip cookies you've ever tasted, and they were still warm and everything. But they had this thing called scraps, where the cookies would break or whatever, and they put them in a bag and sell them for $1. Oh,
Them
that
Amish people made them cookies.
huh?
Some Amish people made them cookies.
There you go. There you go.
Them Amish people made them cookies. Man, ain't no way in the world. Hey, true story. I'm driving Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, going from Harrisburg to what's the name? Was it Lancaster or something like that?
Oh, Lancaster,
Going up
Lydics.
going up that way. Yeah, going up that way, and it was cold. It was like -5 or something. I'm in my Dodge pickup truck going up there, making sure these guys are all right. And see these people on the side of the road with this horse and carriage, just running out. Ain't no way in the world.
Really? I thought you
I
was
won't
playing.
be no Amish. No, I won't be no Amish people. I'll quit. I'll take my sideburns, my black hat, or whatever. Nah, I could not. Nah, I can't do that. I'll be Amish during the summertime, not during the wintertime. Then you ain't got no power tools anyway. Everything you dealing with, I'm like, nah. Noah did that when he built that ark. I ain't got time. Give me some power, electric or something. I ain't got time for that. No, sir. But they do make some good fried chicken. I give them that. They do make some good fried chicken. And we sitting there at this Amish restaurant eating the fried chicken, and had the white guy with me, Ricky. The guy came to Ricky and said, "Hey, are you married? You single?" And Ricky like, "I ain't gay." He said, I'll give you $1,000 if you pregnant my daughter. And I was like, what? Ain't no way. I said, let me get out of here. Shit. I was like, man, I done heard it all.
It's a different region, and I know you can imagine me going up there in high school. And we didn't really get to mingle with a lot of the regular people, I guess you could say, that are from the areas. But when we did, it was always like, what? Really? Wow. Like, stop, for real?
Really?
Coming from South Carolina, and you see like interracial dating being a norm. Interracial, you don't even bat an eye at interracial dating. You see people hanging together, you be like, those two don't even look like they even belong in the same area code. But that's just how it was. And that's the one thing that I enjoyed about being in Pennsylvania is that people got along. If they didn't like you, they just didn't like you. But at the same time, you had a lot of people who you could really get along.
There's a bunch of gypsies up there. There's a bunch of gypsies up there too.
Yeah, you had a large group of people that you could get along with because people accepting at the and I like that, especially being I was a transplant. So,
I thought you were about to say you were transgender. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that. I said, dang, I ain't know that. You were born like how we missed that?
You just on the roll, man.
How the hell I missed that? When this transition happened? I guess when you would fold up in the back seat of the hatchback. Oh, okay, that was.
Yeah. Well, I guess Princess don't put on the line. They didn't hear that? Yeah, them jokers had me in the trunk of the hatchback because they ain't had no room for.
Man, hey, you know what? Hey, you was happy he was leaving.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
going, man. That was the thing, man. He was the littlest person. Shoot, what the heck?
About 130 pounds, and there was no room for me in the rest of the car. We had 6 people in a Datsun, and you had 3 in the back seat, 2 in the front, and me and the stuffed bear named Cool J in the hatchback.
Holding the 6x9 speakers.
Wow. You was
Mm.
holding the speakers?
Man, anything that was in the trunk, I was holding so it didn't hit me when we hit a turn. So hey, but it was crazy. We were triple dating, and these jokers set me up with this chick, and she still didn't eat all her shrimp. I'm still mad about that. You ate like 2 or 3 shrimp. You didn't want no more. You better eat them shrimp, or you better put them in your purse or something. I done paid for them. 10 me ticked off. I'm about to throw it. Don't you throw that shrimp at that girl. She better eat them then.
Man, I tell you, them been some days. Them some days.
Come on, let's go skating. Go skating, girl. You got a whole plate of shrimp you still got to eat. You better.
I heard that. Drew. I heard that.
But the thing about that, in real talk, we all adults on this call. When we was back then, we wasn't worrying about sex or anything like that. We were just out there having fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was we went out in the movies or went out to eat. We just have fun and we just on the phone, or if we ain't on the phone, we'll go out somewhere, and everybody chipped in for gas.
Yep.
Because everybody want to leave the house. Everybody, we found money quick.
Gas was under $1 a gallon, so
yeah, shoot, yeah, it was doggone 79 cents.
Yeah,
it was 79 cents a gallon.
$dollars and change, not the couch. Come on, that's a couple gallons. Let's go.
Yeah, we had that. We went to the movie theater on Aviation in North Charleston. We went there with the doggone Stardust skating rink. Shoot, well, I think we stayed more in the country than anything.
Hey, movie theater, right? And it was in the winter time, so we all had on big coats. Muggs had chicken, 2 liters.
Okay. You already know. You already know.
Yeah, hey, pass that soda, man. Pass that soda.
that concession stand there made no money off of us.
None.
Hey, did y'all also have a Shakey's down there where y'all was at? All you eat buffet thing? All the Shakey's?
No, we had a place called Duff's. Duff's. It was by the airport. Duff's.
Duff's. Okay.
Yeah, we had Duff's, and of course, we had Ryan's, and then later came. It was Ryan's, all you can eat. Quincy's was all you can eat because I just went there and eat the rolls. And Duff's was the only Duff's was the only the place that is all you can eat. But you can't find those places no more. They even gone, man. We got a couple Quincy's here and there.
Check this out, man. The first time I ever tried some fried ribs for Memorial Day.
Oh, really? My wife, man. Yeah, my wife cooked some fried ribs last week.
I didn't know whether or not to put some barbecue sauce on or just eat it the way it was because
it was good, didn't it?
But it was good, man. My mind was so confused, but I thought it.
Yeah, it was good because I know, if she fries it, and when we go home, because they don't sell Carolina Gold barbecue sauce here in Nashville, because everything here in Tennessee is like red sauce, so in South Carolina we got red sauce and we use mustard. I mean, we got the mustard-based sauce and we use vinegar-based sauce for barbecue. So I get the big jug and bring back, and she'll fry it and then she'll put that on it, or I'll go and grill on the grill. And because if I grill on the grill, put ribs, it ain't gonna last long because it's gonna be gone. It's gonna be gone. Especially I use the apple cider wood too. It be gone. Ain't yeah.
Mm. Dang.
Y'all making me hungry for some ribs now.
Yeah, man. Oh, I'm a grill master. I'm a grill master. My grandparents, my grandmama taught me how to bake. So I bake homemade scratch cake, pound cakes, red velvet, all that stuff, biscuits, we call it
Mr. Wright, where do you live? I'll be at your house tomorrow.
right here, right,
with all this food.
Right.
right here,
I'll be there too.
My wife be mad. My wife be mad with me every weekend. I'm cooking breakfast. I'm cooking grits and with liver pudding, bacon, eggs. Oh yeah, I gotta have breakfast.
Man.
Yeah.
Grits I haven't had in a while, man. I used to eat them with eggs, man, mix them all together.
Oh yeah, put a little cheese on it, a little syrup too.
Man, yeah, yes. Yes.
I couldn't get down with that oatmeal and that.
Only reason it went like that. Only reason it went like that. Look, I'm gonna tell you. The only reason it went like that is because I made a mistake. It was a mistake that because I had it on my biscuit, and it went into the grits, and the eggs. I was like,
there you go.
it's pretty good. And before you know it, I was looking for. I said, "This."
That's what I do, man. You go to my mama. Listen, you go to my mama house right now, and my mom cooked like 10 people in that house, and I don't know, that's just how she is. And we go there now. Mama got food in the refrigerator because, like I said, I snuck down there to Walter to pick the grandkids up in Somerville, and I say, you know what? I'm not gonna leave South Carolina without not hugging my mama neck. So I went to the house. Mom making doggone macaroni tuna salad. She gave me a bowl of that. Then she okra and tomato and short beef in it. Yeah. So yeah. Shoot. Then she get mama said, I don't cook no rice no more. Here to Uncle Ben bag rice put in the microwave. That's all right, mama. But yeah, she make sure you eat. Yeah, and then she make the doggone she make the pig ears. Listen, she make that doggone gizzards and pig ears.
So when y'all want to get together?
If she's still in the same house, I can take us right there.
Oh yeah, Now, Flex,
how much is the buffet?
Flex, listen. Now, don't let mama make no oxtails. Flex, you still got to do that for Flex anyway. Well,
first time I had some oxtails was 7 years ago.
Boy, listen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, shoot. I do oxtails too. If I don't feel like cooking, it's a nice Jamaican spot here in Nashville. Man, hey, it's good. Oxtail, steamed cabbage, red beans and rice, Johnny bread. Shit, man, please.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
This video is over, man. We gotta stop this.
You be mad. Hey, listen, they be all mad. Ain't nothing to eat there at the Waffle House because that's the only thing open now.
Right.
Shut up. You know it.
Unless you got a Metro Diner over there. That's Metro Diner's pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty good.
I never even heard of them.
Hey, unless you JT used to do. Hey, Quan, remember JT when we would go to buy low in the middle of the night, we cut our Nintendo Tecmo Bowl party short, and we go to buy low. My cousin JT.
Boy, he good.
We all walking around finding like chicken and stuff because we gonna cook. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter. He over there opening up stuff, open up packs of donuts, Swiss roll.
No.
My nigga free sample.
Oh.
Cookies. All talking about free samples.
It's bad for no reason, man.
We did some things, man.
Man, listen.
We did some things.
Those were the
wow. Can't do that now.
Better not.
But
you probably get kids now.
Just FYI, listen. FYI, guys, when you have to travel and on the interstate or whatever, stay away from Bucky's. There's a gas station called Bucky's. Stay away from that, please. Because if you go there, you can spend all your money.
What?
So if you listen, imagine a pilot. You ever been to a pilot, a Flying J, or
Yeah.
TA, Petro, those service station for especially for truck drivers, right?
Mhm.
Imagine that 20 times the size. 20 times the size. Have over 100 pumps. 100 pumps. They have inside is like a shopping mall center, Walmart, if you want to say that. They do briskets, right? Fresh briskets. They do chopped barbecue. They do cook to order food. They got a little toffee section that make toffee and
Say no more. Say no more. I'm getting a headache, man.
Stay away, man. Look, we went this. Listen, it's so bright over there because we were like flies.
I thought you was talking about me at first.
No. We was like flies. Flies like bright lights, and we was drawn to that light because it was real bright. And we went there. I mean, we left the car at the pump for 45 minutes to an hour because there's so many pumps there. We went inside. We got overwhelmed when we walked through the door because they had. I mean, you can Google it and you can see what they got. I mean, it is so long. You get tired from walking from one side to the other. You know what I'm saying? The bathroom stalls look like a hotel lobby. And I'm like, wait a minute. You just sitting there being memorized. I'm like, man, this should be against the law to have something like this. Because it's like, what movie was that? Percy Jackson. You ever saw that? It was a kid movie, Percy Jackson. Remember when they went to Vegas or whatever? You were just stuck. That's how it felt like. You were just stuck there. You couldn't get out the store. You had to snap out. I said, man, we got to get out of here. They just built one in Florence, South Carolina. That's what I heard. So
okay.
Mm.
They're coming up fast. It's just
exactly where they put it too. Did they put it out there on TV Road, over there by TV Road? Because they had a big open out there.
It's off the interstate, so you can see it. That's how they attract people. They put it the prime location by the interstate that you can see it. You know how bright south of the border is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like that, real bright. You cannot miss it.
Yeah, they probably miss it. TV Road then, because TV Road is the one exit I know of in Florence that had enough space where you can that big.
Man, it's terrible, man. They had the roasted pecan machine that you could get the caramel or the brown sugar and all that. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Are you hearing this, Stacey?
I'm hearing this. I'm hearing this. Y'all see, now they're gonna make me come south. I'm gonna have to hit everything on the interstate now. This is just terrible.
It's terrible. It is.
You be broke before you get where you're
going. Man, listen. I remember, like I said, when I was working in the government contractor and working for the U.S. Postal Service, and I used to drive from South Carolina, and I'll drive from South Carolina, and I won't stop. I stop to get fuel. But when I get to outside of Baltimore, I stop in I think it's Ellery or something, Maryland. Once I get over that bridge.
The Maryland House.
Elkhart.
Yeah, it started with an E. So it was like after you go across that long bridge, and I'll fuel up right there, and I'll go straight through the turnpike, and then I'll stop just before I get to Fort Lee. That's in New Jersey. Before I go across the George Washington Bridge, and I'm going through again. going to Connecticut, and I forgot it's a pilot. I think it's 174, 74, or something like the pilot there in Connecticut. And
It's a
I
pilot.
fuel up,
It's a pilot in Milford.
and then I stop right there and fuel up, and I won't
Mhm.
stop until I get to through Boston, and I stop in what's a place called Kennebunk, Kennebunker or something like that. Up in Massachusetts, up in that area. But Scarborough, Maine is a different world, man. I mean, went to this place called Conway, North Conway, and
Mhm.
there was no blacks there, none,
How
none.
did it make you? How it make you feel? Like,
Yeah, you know what? I was used to it already because before I went that far up, we had a big contract in Charleston, West Virginia. So I
oh,
dealt when I say I dealt with people that look like they've been isolated and stranded from existence for years. It was to the point that I seen houses were built with Walmart pallets. You know what I'm saying? With
oh,
big barrels. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow. And then going down these roads, terrain roads, trying to make sure people got their mail and stuff like that. And
mm,
I heard, I went with my boss to help him out because I went to help him out, and I saw this big old PFW strobe light hit us, and like, boy, what you doing out here this time of night? I said, oh, here we go. And
oh,
then we was
Mm.
we was and no, I'm to tell you, it's like ain't no police are gonna come back there. That's how bad it was. So I was like, oh, I told
oh,
yeah, Troy was white. I said, hey boss, we need to leave out here. No, sir.
Mm.
And then if you can Google this place called Leshmeet, West Virginia, because every year they do a story on ghosts and mystery. There's the amusement park, well, County Fair Park right there. You pull it up, Google it. You will see the Ferris wheel. You will see the little the swings and stuff like that. And when they told me that story, I didn't believe it. Well, I got back to the hotel room, I Googled it, and you can hear the kids laughing and screaming during the night. I said, "She, you won't catch me down that road that time of night." No, sir. Mm-mm. No. Uh-uh. I'm not scared of things, but nah, that right there, nah, I ain't playing with that. Mm-mm. But I like I said, I seen a lot. The culture is different. We call, because I'm like when I've been up, like I've been in Maine, and I'm
Hmm.
like, dang, they're killing us at McDonald's with these doggone cardboard McRibs. Up there, they got lobster rolls. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm like, wow. And then the water is different because the Poland bottled water, that's real good. You know what I'm saying? So they got a lot of different things up there. Fresh fresh food, live off the land type deal. But it's nice up there. But I won't live up there during the winter time.
Nope.
Nah, no sir.
Nope.
No, when I was no. But anyway, Flex, man, this been a good call. I try to be on there as much as possible. We learn a lot
man,
from
it
one
was good to hear you speak, bro. Man,
another.
that's one of the best I've had, man. I mean, to be honest with you, to see, us interacting like that,
Hey,
especially with Stacy too. As
Yeah.
much as she talked, it's
that
good to
that
kind of
that
have
just
this laughter and and all of that.
that's that
But
light
I
bright
like to
effect.
ask a question if I can. Shut up. I knew you was gonna say. I knew you was gonna say something.
Well,
But I want to ask a question for the next podcast, I guess, maybe to consider. What do you all think about the possible gun laws that's going to be coming or going to be taking effect?
What is
And
it?
what do
I
you
didn't. I
well, you heard Biden. Something has to be done in Congress because of everything that happened in Texas. And as a result, he's
oh,
looking to have, because you know how everybody was always uh, looking at having some of the gun laws taken into effect for getting more person's background to determine if they are able to purchase it. I guess from my perspective, I could reserve my perspective, but I'm thinking more or less. I mean, we already have majority blacks inside of the prison system, so
You got a
I'm
gun?
thinking
Light black?
no,
Man, look.
never. But I'm
This
saying
is
my thing is, if you don't, then you're gonna be screwed if you don't anyway as a minority because oh wow, but you're gonna be screwed as a minority because it's like it's all how are you gonna be able to purchase it because those who have been locked up and the majority are incarcerated, if they get out, they can't own a gun,
Mhm.
you know,
well,
and it's gonna
like
basically affect majority of the blacks, I'm thinking, more or less than it would be the whites because you know they're gonna have their guns.
But when what it comes to, I believe with that, being that they made the laws and they know that some of them will have to go through that, I believe there is a loophole of sorts of what you can and can't have. You know,
I think I think that law is most based targeting these ghost guns out here. You know what I'm saying? Because like my AR I just showed you, I can buy a
Mhm.
kit and I can build a gun. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Without being registered.
yeah,
So
Wow.
yeah.
I don't know nothing
and then
about that. I never
but
even shot one, man.
oh man, listen. When I've been in the law enforcement sheriff department, we didn't have this kind of tactical one. We have more like a M16, like a military based weapon, rifle. But now, like this right here, I pay only $500 for that. This AR I got. It's
That's
cheap.
cheap.
It depends where you at. It's
Yeah,
cheap, and you know with the scope and the handrail and the tactical flashlight, the magazines and all that. It's cheap now. It depends where you at, and then Tennessee to stand your ground. Um, I didn't have after I got law enforcement. I turned all my weapons in. I didn't even have a pocket knife, but all this situation going on since last year. I bought my 45 Smith and Wesson, and then I traveled to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I came back, and then I went and bought Jay we call it a Taurus 9mm. So I made sure she went to the school. She can open carry, or she can conceal,
Conceal.
open carry and conceal. So, she good, she covered. Then I bought this AR, then I got another one on the way. So my kids can shoot these guns, you know what I'm saying? And just like Gianni said, you see these white folks teaching their 5 or 6 year old kids how to shoot these guns or whatsoever. You educate them kids. You got to educate them. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because guns don't kill people. Super people kill people. So
yeah.
Right.
but not this the thing is with the females here, with our guys, go to the local gun range and see the classes they got or whatsoever. Go there and go to those classes and learn how to use these guns and purchase one. I mean, hey, and the instructor will get you over the fear of shooting in small arms, stuff like that, and then also too take a self defense class because it ain't gonna look good if you got a license to carry and someone beat your butt and take your own gun and shoot
Yeah, that's got to be embarrassing.
you. Yeah,
Mhm.
but no, I mean, I don't know. I think after this, yeah, like I said, last 2 years, and I mean, I never, like I said, I never had a gun in the house. But after these 2 years, and I'm like, you got to protect yourself. Don't be flamboyant with it, stuff like that. Because I have friends that who always been in social media, flashing guns, talking trash, this that. So you just made yourself a target because
Yeah.
you're gonna see people like, oh, Derek got a gun. I know I'm gonna get payday. I'll go and mess with him. You know what I'm saying? And then just pull a Karen. He pulled his gun at me at the red light, and then, you know what I'm saying? So people does do that. Not too many people know I have a handgun. I mean, I show my AR. I'm not gonna carry that with me unless I go to the range. But I mean, half of the time, like you saw me that on Sunday. Yeah, they look like I was carrying, but I had my gun on me.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But you gotta protect yourself. Ain't nothing like a good hot breakfast and a gun.
For range, I got plenty space. Plenty of space out there. Let loose. Bow.
Yeah,
And
you do that,
roll
then
3 hours.
everybody, you do that. Carlton County be out there so fast.
Nope, not out here. Not
Okay.
out here. You forgot where I am.
Okay.
You know what's behind me? Trees. And plenty of them.
One guy, when we was talking about ARs at work, one guy said he got a lot of property out here. He said we used to get together. We'll shoot like doggone 500 to 600 rounds, be shooting out there. He said, and now, okay, all right. So he said
Oh, what
now
happened there?
he's showing
That's
his land.
Nice.
yeah.
That's
So it's like
big.
now, yeah.
Yeah,
So he's
that's
like,
cool.
yeah,
Look at
I
those
know a bunch of
clouds.
dares. I know a bunch of dares back there.
Yeah.
Well, he said now since they went up on the price of ammo or whatever, they probably shoot a box and that's it. It's just like they shoot a box, and they say they drink a case. Yeah, that's what it is.
Better learn how to shoot a bow and arrow, boy. I tell you, go back and get that bow, get that arrow.
Oh, yeah, man, that's another thing. I was looking into that too. Getting a crossbow, but man,
Yeah.
ain't got time. Nah, shoot. We're like, hold on, let me get this
Compound bow.
thing.
Get a compound. Compound bows are serious too.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, yeah, it is. But anyway, folks, it is what almost 11 o'clock on my side, so I know
So
it might be what 1.
it's 12
Midnight,
About
outside.
there too.
almost midnight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
almost
All right,
midnight, y'all.
people.
you and AC about 11.
Yeah, yeah. You better do a health and welfare check on your boy 6ix9ine. Reach out to him, see what's going on. I guess we need to get a digital card and send them and say, hey, we care or something.
There you go, the crazy. Yeah. Well, we gonna go ahead
Brothers and
and off
sisters,
after 2
Stacy.
hours and 57 minutes. We had a good one tonight, boy. I tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody
I,
out. Funky Uncle salute, and we do it again Tuesday.
all right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Nice, Stacy.
Good
Good
night.
night, everybody.
Bye bye.